Chapter 1301. Haha, a trifling rank 5 true god's origin space probably can't hold this level of death liquid. Aren't you afraid that the death space will be damaged? Ancient God Black Extreme mentally sneered. Even he didn't dare to absorb too much of the death liquid too quickly. After all, the origin dimension was related to the Eye of Death. Once it was damaged, the Eye of Death would be heavily injured as well. But a moment later, Ancient God Black Extreme's expression froze. Zhao Wang's Eye of Death spun crazily, and it was like a giant black whirlpool sucking away the death water in the pond. Its absorption speed was much faster than Ancient God Black Extreme's. How is this possible? Is he really not afraid of death? Ancient God Black Extreme's body went stiff in shock. On the other side, Zhao Feng, Lin Qingwu, and the beautiful woman were keeping the Eye of Death Yao God busy. Lin Qingwu and Lin Qingwu also discovered Zhao Wang's uniqueness. Compared to Ancient God Black Extreme, they hoped that Zhao Wang would get the majority of the death liquid. Ancient God Black Extreme, why are you so slow? You're even slower than Zhao Feng's clone. The beautiful girl's charming laugh made Ancient God Black Extreme's face turn ashen. Zhao Wang smiled and said nothing. Although he had only recently become a rank 5 ancient god, the Staff of Death Curse, the high-level resources of the ancient dream realm, and the guidance of an expert had allowed him to reach the peak of rank 5, not far from rank 6. At that moment, he had already obtained the initial recognition of the Staff of Death Curse and could unleash a portion of its power. Inside the death dimension, every drop of death liquid that entered would automatically flow around the Staff of Death Curse. After spinning once, it flowed into the Staff of Death Curse. The Staff of Death Curse had been sealed under the God's Seal tablet for many years, and its power had been greatly reduced. The death liquid was a great tonic for it. While absorbing the death liquid, the Staff of Death Curse would also lower a portion of the death liquid's quality, and place it in the death space for Zhao Wang's use. Between the two, it was mutually beneficial. What's going on? Unless his Eye of Death has reached the quasi-god eye level, how else could he endure it? Ancient God Black Extreme was constantly observing Zhao Wang. Previously, he thought that Zhao Wang didn't know much about this, which was why he dared to absorb it. However, even after such a long time had passed, there was still no change to the other party. The rate at which he was absorbing the death liquid was still the same. At this moment, Ancient God Black Extreme's death dimension was already showing signs of reaching its limit. After a while, Ancient God Black Extreme was forced to stop absorbing. After glancing at Zhao Wang, he sat down cross-legged and began to refine the energy. However, when he opened his eyes again, there wasn't much death water left in the pond. The surface of the pond was filled with death-profound crystals. On the other side, the Eye of Death Yao God that was being held back by Zhao Feng and the others was gradually weakening. It's dying! Zhao Feng said in a low voice, then moved a few steps forward. Lin Qingwu and the beautiful young woman's expressions changed slightly. They moved closer to the pool to ensure that they would be able to obtain more benefits when the time came. At a certain moment, the three of them simultaneously attacked the Eye of Death Yao God. Boom! The Eye of Death Yao God's body gradually faded and then exploded. Whoosh! The beautiful young woman and Lin Qingwu began to run toward the dried-up pond. Zhao Feng pretended to approach the pond, his left eye focused on a certain place where the Eye of Death Yao God had collapsed. A spatial vortex slowly emerged. Above the spatial vortex was a pitch-black rhombus-shaped crystal that exuded thick death energy. This was the intent crystal inside the Eye of Death Yao God's body. But with Zhao Feng's eyes he could see that within this rhombus-shaped crystal was a round ball, similar to an eye. It seemed like Zhao Feng was about to take this rhombus-shaped crystal. But Ancient God Black Extreme's figure suddenly appeared nearby. He extended a claw, and the black mist around it exerted a powerful suction force that pulled the intent crystal out of Zhao Feng's range. This person's goal is... Zhao Feng's expression darkened as he used space intent to blink away. His left eye had noticed that this black rhombus-shaped crystal was rather unique, so he wanted to obtain it. But ancient god Black Extreme's goal from the start seemed to be the intent crystal inside the Yao god's body. Swish! Swish! Zhao Feng blinked away again and again as he approached the rhombus-shaped crystal and grabbed it. Brother Zhao has quite the skill! Ancient god Black Extreme saw that Zhao Feng had already obtained the intent crystal, so he made no further moves. On the other side, Lin Qingwu and the beautiful girl also stopped what they were doing and looked at Zhao Feng and ancient god Black Extreme. Zhao Feng, what did you get? The four of us are working together for now, but you want to take all the good stuff for yourself? The two of them naturally knew that they had missed out on an even more precious treasure. This is the profundity crystal from the monster god's body. Its quality is much higher than the profundity crystals in the pool. If you are willing to give this profundity crystal to me, I will not take the profundity crystals in the pool. Zhao Feng showed no hesitation as he took out the intent crystal he had just obtained and showed it off. After saying this, Zhao Feng turned to ancient god Black Extreme. In their view, the intent crystal in Zhao Feng's hand was just as he said, just of a slightly higher quality than the other intent crystals. But ancient god Black Extreme seemed to know something, and it depended on whether or not he was willing to talk about it. If he didn't talk, the other two wouldn't object, so the intent crystal would end up in Zhao Feng's hands. But ancient god Black Extreme's final words surprised Zhao Feng. I have no objections, ancient god Black Extreme very casually said. But inside, ancient god Black Extreme was coldly chuckling. Even if you can obtain everything here for now, it'll be mine when the time comes. Lin Qingwu and the beautiful young woman did not need these profundity crystals. They only saw the value of these profundity crystals. After weighing the pros and cons, they finally agreed. They felt that the one they needed to be the most wary of was ancient god Black Extreme. Since ancient god Black Extreme didn't care, they had no need to press Zhao Feng. In the end, Zhao Feng smoothly obtained the special intent crystal. Before placing it in his interspatial dimension, Zhao Feng activated his left eye and carefully examined it. He discovered that there was an eye of death within the intent crystal. Could the eye of death have mutated into a Yao god after the experts here died? Zhao Feng was confused for a few moments, but he put the matter to rest. Although he had only obtained this special intent crystal, Zhao Wan had also absorbed a large amount of death liquid. In the end, Zhao Feng had gained the most out of the group. The death intent crystal in the pool was quickly divided up by the other three. Only a few broken items were left, such as withered herbs and ores that had been drained of energy. Let's go! There's a path up ahead that should lead us to some other important place, ancient god Black Extreme immediately said as he led the way. But the moment they reached this path, ancient god Black Extreme stopped and began to advance step by step. I've already destroyed all the traps along the way, so we can proceed as we please, but we need to be careful from now on. It's best if you don't touch anything, ancient god Black Extreme solemnly said. The others nodded. They didn't know what sort of divine being had lived in this place, but it had at least far surpassed their current level. They had no doubt that the traps here could instantly obliterate them. If ancient god Black Extreme weren't skilled in mechanisms and arrays, they might have given up on exploring. After advancing for a little while, they encountered several forks in the road. But they knew nothing about them, so they could only let ancient god Black Extreme make the choice. Along the way, they passed several rooms of various sizes. Some of them had been completely destroyed, but some Yao gods were still hiding within. In some of these dimensions, they discovered many precious resources containing death intent. Could this place have been the residence of a powerful Eye of Death descendant? The beautiful young woman's expression was somewhat impatient. Up to this point, they had only encountered things related to death power Upanishad, which irritated her a lot. That shouldn't be possible. We encountered quite a few Yao gods with destruction intent and life intent on the outside, Lin Qingwu flatly said. Everyone, these ruins are extremely large. There's no need to rush. Ancient god Black Extreme faintly smiled. The others nodded. At the very least, from the outside, these ruins truly did appear to be enormous. The obstacles of the mechanisms and arrays made their progress extremely slow, so they had probably explored less than 1% of the ruins. At this moment, above the ruins, nearly 10 figures floated over, their leader like a tower, his golden eyes extremely resolute. Ancient God Giant Spirit, it's right below us! A young man with dark golden skin spoke with a smile on his face. This person was none other than the ancient god Gilded Gold, who had almost defeated all the remaining members of the spiritual race in the gambling match. The source of destruction energy in my body is a fortuitous encounter from these ruins, but it's so heavily guarded that I don't have the strength to continue exploring it. Ancient god Gilded Gold continued. When he was out adventuring, he accidentally stumbled upon this place and obtained all sorts of fortuitous encounters, allowing him to break through into the ancient god level. In the end, he returned to his race and became the trump card of the gambling match. Alas, he ended up losing to Zhao Feng. We came prepared this time. At the very least, we'll be able to dig up the majority of the treasures in these ruins. Ancient God Giant Spirit called out. This old man has explored a few Heaven's Legacy race ruins before. Next to him, an elder robed in violet clouds confidently smiled. At this moment, many of the Fey immortals from all directions noticed and rushed over. Seeking death! Ancient God Giant Spirit's body trembled, his physical strength shaking the heavens as golden flames wreaked havoc. A storm of golden flames that shook the heavens and earth swept out in all directions, causing the surrounding rubble and ruins to scatter in all directions. Those Yao gods weaker than rank 7 ancient god were blasted into nothingness before they could even get close to the group. Too powerful! The stronger Yao gods felt a deep sense of danger from ancient god Giant Spirit, and a hint of fear emerged in their hearts. At this moment, ancient god Giant Spirit jabbed out with his golden finger. Swoosh, swoosh! Several dazzling golden flames shot forward, piercing through the few surviving Yao gods in the distance. Their bodies were covered in golden flames as their bodies began to disintegrate and eventually turned to ash. A rank 8 ancient god truly is extraordinary. Ancient god Gilded Gold mentally sighed in amazement. Prepared to explore. Once everything was taken care of, ancient god Giant Spirit indifferently said. It seems like someone else has been here before. The violet-robed elder whispered after observing the area. That's perfect. We'll have them scout the path ahead. Ancient God Giant Spirit's expression remained unchanged. The Blazing Gold race group found an entrance and entered. Chapter 1302. The Blazing Gold race entered a small path that was completely unobstructed. The traps and arrays on this path have all been broken. If we continue down this path, it'll be almost impossible to get anything out of it. At a certain point, the violet-robed elder of the Blazing Gold race stopped. They shouldn't have too many people, right? Ancient God Gilded Gold asked. The Blazing Gold race had sent mostly rank 7 ancient gods this time, and their leader was the rank 8 ancient god Giant Spirit. Based on what ancient God Gilded Gold had said, no treasure that could tempt higher-level ancient gods had appeared in these ruins. Moreover, these ruins were in the territory of the 5-star faction Divine Tree Ocean. The Blazing Gold race could not brazenly lead so many experts and upper echelon members deep into the territory of another 5-star faction. This would only expose the ruins. In the end, the Blazing Gold race sent a team of rank 7 ancient gods, led by a rank 8 ancient god. Naturally. Based on this old man's observations, they don't have more than 5 people. The violet-robed elder grinned. Everything they've obtained belongs to the Blazing Gold race. Ancient God Giant Spirit's eyes flashed with golden light. His meaning was extremely clear. They would slowly proceed deeper into the ruins. If they encountered anyone else, they would kill them and take their treasures. The space in these ruins was extremely unstable. If a rank 9 ancient god entered, they might not even be able to safely survive. Thus, the members of the Blazing Gold race speculated that they would never encounter a rank 9 ancient god. As the 21st ranked race of the 10,000 ancient races, they had many people and could do whatever they wanted in these ruins. Underground, Zhao Feng's group cautiously continued forward. Compared to the Yao gods outside the ruins, the dangers within the ruins came from the traps. There's a strange smell! At this moment, the beautiful girl's nose twitched as she spoke. It just so happened that there were 2 forks in the road nearby. Based on the distribution of traps, that direction seems to be an important point, Ancient God Black Extreme said. The direction he pointed in was roughly the same as the source of the smell that the beautiful girl had smelled. The group then changed directions. They didn't take long before the path began to widen. At the very front, a massive violet crystal door appeared. This amethyst door was the largest one they had seen so far. Through the enchantment on the amethyst stone door, he could vaguely see the scene behind. Inside was a huge circular space, and there were many crystal boxes embedded in the space. The boxes were filled with different colored soil, and the soil was planted with all kinds of strange flowers and plants. In addition, there were many large instruments and props that no one had ever seen before. However, because the circular space had collapsed, most of the items inside were destroyed and buried. Many of the crystal boxes embedded in the surroundings were damaged or destroyed. The plants planted in them had long since withered, leaving only some withered branches and withered leaves. However, there were still 2 crystal boxes that had been perfectly preserved. Some of the materials even gave off spiritual energy, and gave off a strange glow. That's the rainbow reincarnation herb! The beautiful young woman cried out in alarm. Of the 8 great god-eye descendants, the Eye of Destiny was the most difficult to advance in cultivation, followed by the Eye of Samsara. This was because the power of these 2 eyes was simply too difficult to comprehend. For example, in the continent zone, Sacred King Samsara, who had once fought with Zhao Feng, had constantly hunted down reincarnated people in order to increase his cultivation and steal Samsara energy from their bodies. Heaven illusionary sacred spirit mushroom and 1,000-will karma fruit! The usually calm Lin Xingwu's eyes widened as he stared at the resources in the space behind the enchantment. Ancient God Black Extreme, hurry and break the enchantment! The beautiful young woman was rather impatient. On their journey here, they had only encountered matters related to death intent, but now, she was seeing the cultivation treasure that she had been dreaming of. Zhao Feng's left eye could see through everything, allowing him to clearly observe the situation in the crystal box and confirm that it was real. Zhao Feng was currently cultivating many intents, so many of the items in the crystal box would be extremely useful to him. Don't be in such a rush. The mechanisms and arrays here are much more profound than those in the previous one. They won't be broken in a short time. Ancient God Black Extreme appeared rather calm. He took out the black stone plate and began to carefully study the mysteries of the violet crystal door. If this place hadn't been destroyed, the cultivation resources inside would be enough to rival all the wealth of a rank 9 ancient god. After a moment of excitement, the beautiful young woman emotionally sighed. There were more than 20 crystal boxes in this dimension, but all of them had been damaged. Only 2 remained. While Ancient God Black Extreme was breaking the violet crystal door, the group seated themselves cross-legged and began to recover their energy. Although the dimension behind the violet crystal door contained valuable treasures, it was also bound to contain unpredictable dangers. It's done! After a long while, Ancient God Black Extreme suddenly spoke. Okay. What do we need to do? The beautiful young woman immediately asked. It's a little different from before. This array has 5 critical points. Ancient God Black Extreme gave a simple explanation. The beautiful young woman immediately summoned her 2 Samsara immortal bodies. Ancient God Black Extreme then began to break the mechanism. When the complex and incomprehensible patterns around the violet crystal door began to flash with light, it meant that the mechanism had been broken. Boom! Bang! At the same time, the group attacked the 5 critical points of the array and instantly broke the barrier. This time, they did not rush in, but carefully stepped in. There doesn't seem to be any danger here? Lin Chengwu carefully scanned the area and then said. But at this moment, a massive boom came from the right side of the dimension. What's going on? The beautiful young woman immediately revealed a wary expression. This boom was accompanied by powerful ripples of energy. Everyone scanned the area with their divine senses, and they immediately paled. "There's someone else!" Lin Chengwu called out. The place where the boom had come from happened to be hidden by the ruins, so no one noticed what was going on. In truth, while Lin Chengwu's group was breaking the array, there was another entrance on the right side, and there was a group outside that was in the middle of breaking the array. Whoosh! 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 3 figures suddenly appeared in this dimension. The gazes of the two groups instantly clashed. "There's someone else here?" An azure-robed elder in the group had an unkind gaze. "It's him." Zhao Feng's eyes focused on one of the black-clothed men. This middle-aged man only had a single right eye, the eye of myriad forms. This was the person Zhao Feng had accidentally encountered when he visited the life-sacred land. Back then, this one-eyed eye of myriad forms had even wanted to attack Zhao Feng. "Ha ha!" The one-eyed ancient god profound devil scanned Zhao Feng's group and coldly chuckled. "Zhao Feng!" A yellow-clothed youth in ancient god profound devil's group said in surprise. Zhao Feng glanced over and realized that this yellow-clothed youth was one of the many members of the life-sacred land team that had gone with him to the God Eye Assembly. "We have 4 people while you only have 3. Moreover, we were the ones who discovered this place first. I advise all of you to abandon this place." Ancient God Black Extreme was the first to step forward, a look of warning on his face. Lin Chengwu and the beautiful lady were just about to question Ancient God Black Extreme. After all, they had all signed a contract that forbade them from revealing this matter. Only Ancient God Black Extreme could have leaked this information. But when they heard Ancient God Black Extreme's words, they said nothing. Although Ancient God Black Extreme might have leaked the information, there was also a chance that someone else had also discovered these ruins. "Haha, although you have a lot of people, it seems like your strength is very mediocre." The azure-robed elder had a cunning look in his eyes and exuded the powerful energy of a peak rank 7. "Those crystal boxes can't be directly touched. If we can't get them, none of you can either." Ancient God Profound Devil chuckled. He was also a peak rank 7, even a little stronger than the azure-robed elder. These words caused the others to glance at the 2 crystal boxes. They truly were not simple and contained complicated mechanisms and secrets. The expressions of Lin Chengwu and the beautiful young woman turned slightly ugly. If Ancient God Black Extreme went to dispel the array, the 3 of them would be no match for him. But if he insisted on attacking, they would not be able to completely drive him away. "Don't be in such a rush." Ancient God Black Extreme messaged the members of his team and gave his suggestion. "Since you were able to get here, you must have someone skilled in mechanisms and arrays. Why don't we work together to fight for the treasure in the crystal box?" Ancient God Black Extreme smiled and said after obtaining the approval of his team members, "First break the crystal box, then fight over it." Ancient God Black Extreme's team had one more person, so they still had the advantage. "I was thinking the same thing." Ancient God Profound Devil faintly smiled as he stepped forward. Then, the people from the 2 squads who were proficient in mechanisms and formations came to the side of the crystal box. As for the other members of the 2 teams, they were watching each other's every move. If my guess is correct, that one-eyed eye of myriad forms should be the captain of that team. Zhao Feng's eyes dimmed as he guessed at something. Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil weren't very old, but the 2 of them had studied the mechanisms and arrays of the Heaven's Legacy race and just so happened to be the captains of these 2 teams. In addition, Zhao Feng had seen a team of 4 people outside. This meant that there were other teams in these ruins as well. Zhao Feng couldn't help but be even more cautious. He sensed that this exploration of the ruins was not going to be simple. At this moment, a voice rang out in Zhao Feng's mind. "Master that egg." It was the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon communicating with Zhao Feng through the Dark Heart Seal. The egg? Zhao Feng was at first dazed, but then he understood in shock. In the space-time robe dimension, not far from the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon, the gray and gloomy egg was faintly trembling. Extremely complicated silver characters and symbols would occasionally appear on the egg, moving in a strange pattern around it. Just what is this thieving cat? The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon had an extremely grave expression. Suddenly, the mysterious characters and symbols on the egg brightened, and a chaotic ancient bloodline energy began to seep out. This ancient bloodline energy. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon's body went stiff. The weak Destruction Dragon race bloodline in its body almost froze in the face of this unknown ancient bloodline energy. Zhao Feng was just about to check on the space-time robe when Ancient God Black Extreme suddenly bellowed. "Do it!" The crystal walls above the two crystal boxes vanished. The extremely precious cultivation treasures were exposed in front of everyone's eyes. Chapter 1303. The moment the two crystal boxes opened, Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil began to clash. On the other side, the members of both sides began to attack. The azure-robed elder's eyes immediately began to glow with golden light, and an energy that could destroy all things in the world began to seep out. Swish! Zhao Feng's figure flashed as he approached the crystal box. He had comprehended a relatively wide range of intents, and he also had 3 clones. Any one of the cultivation treasures here would be extremely useful to him. "Hey, Zhao Feng, let me test you out!" The yellow-clothed youth from the life-sacred land activated the power in his body, and the Eye of Life as he charged at Zhao Feng. The Eye of Life was one of the weaker 8 great god eyes in terms of fighting power, but it made it easier for one to grow in cultivation. This was because the majority of cultivation resources contained life intent. Thus, the yellow-clothed youth felt that everything here was suitable for him. Zhao Feng's expression darkened. When he first met up with the team from the life-sacred land, the yellow-clothed youth had already expressed his dissatisfaction. Zhao Feng had heard from Xiahou Wu that because he had refused the life-sacred land's invitation, many disciples and elders of the race didn't like Zhao Feng. Swish! Swish! Golden wings condensed on Zhao Feng's back. He used the golden lightning wings and spatial blink to avoid the yellow-clothed youth and approached the crystal boxes. "Humph, get out of my sight!" Ancient God Profound Devil, who was fighting with Ancient God Black Extreme, activated his left eye, firing golden spears at Xiao Feng. "So strong!" Xiao Feng used the discernment ability of his left eye and his dodging skills to dodge the attack. Of the people present, the one-eyed Ancient God Profound Devil was the strongest. After suppressing Ancient God Black Extreme, he still had the strength to attack Xiao Feng. On the other side, Lin Chengwu and the azure-robed elder clashed. But not even Lin Chengwu, with his eye of space-time, had much of an advantage over the azure-robed elder. At the start, Ancient God Profound Devil's team had the upper hand. Meanwhile, the 3 of them were doing their utmost to absorb the cultivation treasures in the crystal boxes. Although the crystal box was sturdy, the cultivation treasures inside could not withstand their attacks. Thus, everyone tried their best not to let the shockwaves of the battle reach the crystal boxes. That way, it would be more difficult for them to obtain the cultivation treasures. At this moment, whoosh whoosh, several figures rushed to the battlefield. These were all the samsara immortal bodies of the beautiful young woman. One of them was a rather strong rank 7 ancient god, one had just reached rank 7 ancient god, and the rest were rank 6 true gods. As for the beautiful young woman herself, she retreated to the rear and occasionally launched long-range sneak attacks against the enemy. The moment these samsara immortal bodies entered the fray, Ancient God Profound Devil's side gradually fell into a disadvantageous position. Myriad Manifestation Underworld Domain. A rainbow-colored barrier of light appeared around Ancient God Profound Devil, infused with the power of the world. It multiplied Ancient God Profound Devil's fighting power, and also provided him with an extremely powerful defense. Heaven and Earth Annihilation! The cyan-clothed old man's eyes spun rapidly. The destructive power of the Upanishad filled his field of vision, causing everything to slowly disappear. These 2 people are really strong! The beautiful young woman at the side exclaimed in surprise. But this was also because their opponents had a good lineup. Ancient God Profound Devil was skilled in defense, The azure-clothed elder was the strongest in offense, and the yellow-clothed youth's eye of life had formidable healing abilities. Forget about them. The beautiful young woman's gaze fell on the 7-colored reincarnation grass in the crystal box. She immediately took control of several of the stronger rank 6 samsara immortal bodies and made seizing the resource her primary objective. At this moment, a golden light flashed above the crystal box. The beautiful young woman saw that one of the cultivation treasures in the crystal box had vanished. Zhao Feng, that brat! A look of surprise appeared on the beautiful young woman's face. The person who had clashed with Zhao Feng was the yellow-clothed youth from the life-sacred land. But Zhao Feng didn't even fight. Instead, he constantly dodged and moved around the crystal box. Even when the golden-clothed man got close, Zhao Feng was able to escape each time. Whoosh! One of the young woman's samsara immortal bodies avoided the battle and approached the crystal box. At this moment, in a golden blur, Zhao Feng took out a 7-colored herb covered in many rings. My 7-colored reincarnation grass! The beautiful young woman screamed. Although she was in the same team as Zhao Feng, the way they divided up the treasures was based on their own skill. Damn, this person is too fast! The yellow-clothed youth was well aware that he couldn't do anything to Zhao Feng, so he didn't continue fighting with Zhao Feng and charged at the crystal box. This isn't yours! Zhao Feng saw that the yellow-clothed youth was no longer targeting him and was instead trying to take the treasure, so he immediately tried to stop him. Crack! A purple-silver lightning flame exploded against his soul. Zhao Feng then unleashed another palm to push back the youth and approached the crystal box. Heh, I'll also take the Heaven Void Sacred Spirit Fruit! Zhao Feng faintly chuckled as he plucked a small silver-white fruit and a dark golden fruit next to it. My void-extinguishing divine fruit! The azure-robed elder saw that the destruction intent cultivation treasure he had his eye on had been taken by Zhao Feng, and he was instantly enraged, destruction intent madly surging in his eyes. Lin Chengwu also had an extremely nasty expression. The Heaven Void Sacred Spirit Fruit he needed had also been taken by Zhao Feng. How about we call a truce and peacefully divide up the treasures? Lin Chengwu silently messaged the azure-robed elder. The azure-robed elder was taken aback for a moment, but then he apparently agreed and messaged the yellow-clothed youth and ancient god Profound Devil. The yellow-clothed youth of the life-sacred land was extremely depressed. In his fight with Zhao Feng, he had gained nothing and instead suffered losses time and time again. Thus, he decisively agreed. Everyone, we're no match for you. You get 60% of the treasures, while we get 40%. How about this? Since all the members had agreed, ancient god Profound Devil could only speak. The beautiful girl and Zhao Feng were both taken aback. These people see that I've gotten too many benefits and want to negotiate? Zhao Feng couldn't help but feel depressed. But from the looks of it, Lin Chengwu and the beautiful girl would not refuse. He was just a member of the team. If the majority of the team agreed, there was nothing he could do. But at this moment, a powerful ancient bloodline energy suddenly appeared in the air. This bloodline energy caused the blood of everyone present to freeze and their minds to tremble. Ordinary 8 great god-eye descendants were only equivalent to the top 40 bloodlines of the 10,000 ancient races. Quasi-god eyes were equivalent to the top 20 bloodlines of the 10,000 ancient races. But now, this unique and unknown primordial bloodline aura caused everyone present to feel a powerful bloodline pressure. Some other powerful race has come here? Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil were both alarmed. The people they invited were all descendants with eye bloodlines. Besides the 8 great god eyes, was there any other eye bloodline that could have such a powerful impact on their bloodlines? A dark silver light shot out, and a figure appeared in the crystal box. A cat? The azure-robed elder, the yellow-robed youth, and the others all stared in surprise at the silver-gray cat in the crystal box. The cat's skin was dark gray, and its limbs were slender and strong. The only difference between it and an ordinary cat was that this gray thieving cat's limbs and the roots of its tail were covered with many bright silver runes and cryptic characters, which made it look more mysterious and supernatural. Meow! The little thieving cat looked at the group and snickered, its tail covered in silver runes and characters twisting and turning like a crystalline whip. Little thieving cat! Zhao Feng's expression froze. The cat before him was rather different from the little thieving cat of the past, as if it had grown up. If not for the contract, Zhao Feng almost wouldn't have recognized it. But at the same time, Zhao Feng was astonished. The little thieving cat's transformation this time was probably no small matter. The aura of the primordial bloodline that shocked everyone just now was indeed extraordinary. But even though the little thieving cat had undergone some unknown transformation, its thieving face remained the same. Heaven's legacy! Ancient God Black Extreme's face froze in shock. On the other side, Ancient God Profound Devil's expression flickered several times. He knows about the Heaven's Legacy cat? Zhao Feng glanced at Ancient God Black Extreme. Zhao Feng had only heard about the Heaven's Legacy cat from the automatons in the Heaven's Legacy city. But now, Ancient God Black Extreme actually knew about the Heaven's Legacy cat. Although Ancient God Profound Devil didn't say it out loud, his expression showed that he knew. Meow! The little thieving cat put on a thieving look, and then it opened its mouth and swallowed a precious fruit. Damn! Where did this cat come from? The azure-robed elder immediately bellowed. This thieving cat had actually stolen such a precious cultivation resource. Lin Chengwu turned his gaze to Zhao Feng. Just now, he sensed a faint spatial ripple coming from Xiao Feng's direction. This cat's bloodline is so extraordinary. If I could take it as a pet, the beautiful girl began to make this decision. Meow! The little thieving cat appeared confused, as if to say, these idiots are actually ignoring it? The little thieving cat waved its slender paw, and a snow-white mushroom appeared in its hand, which it immediately swallowed. Swish! The little thieving cat blinked to the side, and with a sweep of its mouth, the 5 resources vanished. Not good! This gluttonous thieving cat! The yellow-clothed youth immediately bellowed. The beautiful girl, the azure-robed elder, and Lin Chengwu were all shocked and furious. In their desperate struggle, each person had obtained 1 or 2 treasures at most, but the moment the little thieving cat appeared, it swallowed several priceless cultivation treasures and showed no signs of stopping. Only Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil had pensive looks on their faces as they stood there, their thoughts inscrutable. This scoundrel! Zhao Feng slapped his forehead. The little thieving cat's actions immediately infuriated both sides. But the little thieving cat was not very big, and it was in the crystal box, so they did not immediately use their most powerful attacks to avoid destroying the cultivation treasures. Swish! Swish! Lin Chengwu blinked away as he approached the crystal box. Spatial Flash Blade! Lin Chengwu activated his left eye, locked onto the little thieving cat, and unleashed a spatial eye bloodline technique. Thish! A small white blade appeared next to the little thieving cat, on the verge of piercing through its body. But then, an unexpected scene occurred. The small white blade passed right through the little thieving cat's body, leaving not a single mark. Thish! The white blade plunged into a special layer of dirt and struck the crystal wall, leaving behind a shallow mark. The little thieving cat gave a lowly smile as it leaped up and down, swallowing 4 or 5 cultivation treasures. Chapter 1304. This cat! How? The eyes of the God-Eye descendants lunging at the little thieving cat went wide in shock. Lin Chengwu's eye bloodline technique had clearly struck the little thieving cat, but it hadn't done any damage to it. Moreover, the little thieving cat didn't have an absolute physical defense, nor did it use any profound movement techniques to dodge. The spatial eye bloodline technique had passed right through its body in an unimaginable manner. Is that thieving cat not a physical body? The beautiful girl muttered in shock. The azure-robed elder's expression darkened as if he had noticed something. No, this thieving cat possesses an extremely profound space intent. Lin Chengwu solemnly stared at the little thieving cat. He was the one who had used that attack just now, and he himself had the eye of space-time. Thus, he was the only one who knew what had just happened. On the surface, it seemed like that tiny spatial blade of white crystal had passed through the little thieving cat's body, but that wasn't actually the case. The moment the white crystal blade touched the little thieving cat's body, the little thieving cat used a profound space intent to move the white crystal blade from one side of its body to the other. Thus, to an outsider, it looked like the white crystal blade had passed right through the little thieving cat's body. This was a short-distance spatial shift ability that Lin Chenwu also knew. However, the little thieving cat was even more outstanding. The space intent it used was extremely obscure, and those with weaker space intent would find it difficult to detect. From this aspect, the little thieving cat's spatial abilities were even more formidable than Lin Chenwu's. So that's how it is. This little cat is actually this formidable. The yellow-clothed youth examined the little thieving cat in shock. If this continues, all the cultivation treasures in the crystal box will be eaten by this thieving cat. The azure-robed elder snorted. These words caused everyone else to grimace. They were all God-eye descendants, famed ancient god experts, but now, they had been toyed with by this cat to such an extent. This was truly rather hateful. But they were still ancient god experts. The youngest of them, the yellow-clothed youth, was several hundred years old, while the azure-robed elder was probably 10 million years old. Their eyes were extremely sharp and their foresight was profound. Compared to the cultivation treasures here, if he could tame this kitten, it would undoubtedly be more useful. Leave this thieving cat to this old man. The azure-robed elder charged out, heading straight for the little thieving cat in the crystal box. We can't let him succeed. The beautiful young woman revealed an anxious expression. She naturally knew what the green-robed old man was thinking. Ancient God Black Extreme? Lin Chenwu glanced at Ancient God Black Extreme. It seemed like from the moment the little thieving cat appeared, Ancient God Black Extreme had fallen silent. It was impossible to tell what he was thinking. Ancient God Profound Devil seemed to be in the same situation. At the same time, he also noticed that Zhao Feng's expression was a little strange. Whoosh! Whoosh! At this moment, the azure-robed elder and the beautiful woman's samsara immortal bodies arrived next to the little thieving cat. Kitten, you've stolen so many of our treasures. Unless you follow this old man, you'll definitely die today. The azure-robed elder's golden eyes emitted a terrifying aura that could destroy heaven and earth. Moreover, this aura was aimed at the soul. The soul energy of an ordinary living being would gradually weaken under the pressure of this destruction energy until they would eventually submit. However, the little thieving cat seemed completely unaffected. It only gave the azure-robed elder a disdainful glance before hopping off to eat a few more treasures. How could this be? This thieving cat is actually ignoring the soul pressure of this old man's eye of destruction. The azure-robed elder's lips twitched. As Zhao Feng used his left eye to peer through, he realized that just a moment ago, a strange and gloomy membrane had appeared over the little thieving cat's soul body, wrapping around it. It was precisely because of this mysterious defensive soul art that the little thieving cat was completely unaffected. The little thieving cat never knew this sort of secret soul art before. Heh, this isn't how you tame a pet. The beautiful young woman in the back let out a tender laugh. At this moment, the beautiful woman controlled her samsara immortal body and approached the little thieving cat. The ancient god wielding the golden sword followed the woman's orders and said, Kitten, if you follow my master, there will be countless treasures like this in the future. You can eat as many as you want. Meow. The little thieving cat extended a paw and impatiently waved it around as if saying that it was eating and that they shouldn't disturb it. The yellow-clothed youth and Lin Chenwu followed suit, attempting to tame this mysterious and powerful thieving cat. In the end, all of them were met with rebuff. But they were still unwilling to give up. In their view, this little thieving cat was definitely a creature from the God-eye ruins. It was mysterious, powerful, and possessed special abilities. If they tamed it, they might even be able to extract some important information from its mouth. Let me capture you! The yellow-clothed youth was enraged and used a secret art to try and capture the little thieving cat. Tough and twisted green vines appeared around the area and began to wrap around the little thieving cat. Meow! The little thieving cat, who was in the middle of eating herbs, became rather angry at this sight. Suddenly, the mysterious silver runes and characters on its limbs began to twist and flicker. Its body also seemed to undergo a subtle transformation, becoming tough and brimming with strength. At the same time, everyone present once more felt that heaven-shaking bloodline pressure. What a powerful bloodline energy! We have to get this cat! The azure-robed elder was extremely excited. Swoosh, swoosh! The little thieving cat's claws became dark silver and sharp. It casually waved them a few times and countless silver blades appeared in the air. They were like a dazzling storm that seemed to have a mind of their own, cutting apart all the vines. You're not going to try? The beautiful girl looked at Zhao Feng and Ancient God Black Extreme. Other than Zhao Feng, Ancient God Black Extreme, and Ancient God Profound Devil, everyone else had tried to tame the little thieving cat. This cat is very difficult to tame. Ancient God Black Extreme hesitated for a moment before saying. The beautiful girl nodded. In her view, Ancient God Black Extreme was observing to find the little thieving cat's weakness so that he could strike. At this moment, the little thieving cat had finished eating all the cultivation treasures in the crystal box. This scoundrel, he actually finished eating all the resources. The yellow-clothed youth stomped his feet in anger. This lowly little thieving cat was completely impervious to anything. Their plan to tame it made no progress. And when they tried to take the cultivation treasures from the crystal box, they would be attacked by the little thieving cat. Meow! The little thieving cat seemed to be full, burping and patting its belly. This cat has eaten its fill. Perhaps we can find a chance to tame it. The azure-robed elder's eyes twinkled. The others were also eager to try. Now that all the cultivation treasures had been eaten by this cat, whoever succeeded in taming this cat would be the final winner. But at this moment, Zhao Feng, who had remained silent this entire time, finally spoke. Come here! Zhao Feng helplessly said. The moment the thieving cat came out, it took all the remaining treasures into its mouth, and the others were doing their best to curry favor with it. Hey, you think it'll come over just because you tell it to? The yellow-clothed youth couldn't help but jeer. Little brother, your beast-taming method is no good. The beautiful girl gracefully smiled. But the moment the two of them finished speaking, the silver-gray cat in the crystal box suddenly stood up. Swish! In a flash of silver-gray light, the little thieving cat appeared on Zhao Feng's shoulder and lay down. This? For a moment, the calm and confident azure-robed elder and Lin Chengwu were dumbstruck, not knowing what to say. The yellow-clothed youth and the beautiful girl seemed to have been petrified, their faces frozen. Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil stared in shock at Zhao Feng, their minds going through a series of thoughts. After a long while, the azure-robed elder's eyes flashed. Kid, it's your pet? The azure-robed elder bellowed in fury. What? Everyone else stared in shock and disbelief at Zhao Feng. But in reality, based on what happened just now, it was clear that the little thieving cat was Zhao Feng's pet. This meant that more than 90% of the treasures in the two crystal boxes had been taken by this pair of main pets. No one could accept this. Zhao Feng, your pet ate the rest of the treasures here. As its master, you have to take responsibility for this matter. The yellow-clothed youth immediately shouted. Lin Chengwu and the beautiful girl wanted to voice their agreement, but they were still on the same team as Zhao Feng, so they did not make it too obvious. The struggle for treasures depends on one's own ability. Moreover, when my pet took action, I didn't do anything. Even so, none of you were able to win against it. And in my view, you intentionally allowed it to eat those treasures. Your true goal was to steal my pet. Zhao Feng first sighed, seemingly belittling them, and then he changed his tone and directly questioned these people who wanted to steal his pet. For a moment, none of them had anything to say. They were all extremely regretful. If they had come to an agreement earlier, Zhao Feng would have had to take responsibility. At the same time, they were all angry that such a mysterious and powerful cat was Zhao Feng's pet. Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil only stared at Zhao Feng, their thoughts inscrutable. Let's go! After a long while, Ancient God Profound Devil led his team away. Lin Qingwu and the beautiful girl looked at Zhao Feng with unkind expressions. Zhao Feng, if you had this pet, why didn't you take it out earlier? Ancient God Black Extreme reproached, but he was actually trying to find out more about the little thieving cat. This scoundrel isn't very obedient, Zhao Feng casually explained. But everyone seemed to be very convinced by this reason. Let's go as well, Ancient God Black Extreme said, not having learned anything. Slow down. There's still something good here. Zhao Feng stopped them. There's still something good? Lin Qingwu was somewhat doubtful. If there was something good, why didn't Zhao Feng take it for himself? As everyone watched, Zhao Feng went to a certain corner, gathered up Chaos Origin Divine Power in his hands, and then fired it at the edge of a piece of silver ruin. After a few rounds of attacks, a piece of the edge of the huge ruin was shaved off, revealing something. It was a palm. This is a hand? There's someone inside? The beautiful girl was alarmed. No, it's an automaton. Ancient God Black Extreme also revealed a look of shock as he said this. Everyone immediately thought of the highly realistic and intelligent automatons created by the Heaven's Legacy race. It was rumored that there were even automatons with apocalyptic fighting power. Dig it out. Perhaps we can use it or obtain something, Ancient God Black Extreme called out. Chapter 1305. Dig it out. It might be of some use, or we might be able to obtain some information from it, Ancient God Black Extreme called out. The others immediately began to understand. This Heaven's Legacy race automaton was very likely one of the members of the God Eye Ruins. Moreover, automatons had almost no limit to their lifespans. If this automaton buried underground was still alive, they might even be able to learn the true nature of these ruins from its mouth. If this was the God Eye Ruins, then it would be very unusual for a Heaven's Legacy race automaton to appear. Perhaps the true nature of this place was not what Ancient God Black Extreme had described. Go! Lin Qingwu's expression flickered. Spatial Flash Flurry! He immediately activated his Eye of Spacetime, his eyes exploding with supreme eye intent. Swoosh! Countless white crystal blades ignored the distance and slashed at the metal ruins in front of them. However, the buildings in this place were extremely unique. This massive piece of metal was massive, heavy, and extremely tough. Lin Qingwu's space-time eye bloodline technique was only able to cut off a few pieces. At the same time, the beautiful girl released 10 samsara immortal bodies, which she sent blasting at the metal ruins in front of her. On the other side, Ancient God Black Extreme activated his Eye of Death and aimed it at the metal ruins. Death intent could cause any object to gradually decay and walk toward death, and it was most effective against this massive piece of metal. The four of them worked together to quickly dig out half of the Heaven's Legacy race automaton. After being smashed like this, it's probably useless. The beautiful girl was rather disappointed. Now, only the head and upper body of the mechanical puppet had been excavated by the crowd. However, the automaton's face had been smashed beyond recognition, and there was a massive hole in its chest. All the mechanical parts inside had been destroyed. Let me try. Ancient God Black Extreme stepped forward, approached the automaton, and squatted down. What do you want to do? Lin Qingwu asked in confusion. Every part of this automaton has been severely damaged. Not even an array master of the ancient desolate realm of gods would be able to repair it, but the damage to its head isn't very serious. I want to try and see if I can extract any information from it, Ancient God Black Extreme simply replied. Ancient God Black Extreme simply replied. Without waiting for anyone to say anything else, he took out a few tools, used a secret art, and placed a hand on the automaton's head. Ancient God Black Extreme's hand sent waves of black runes into the automaton's head. At this moment, the head of the automaton began to creak. Ancient God Black Extreme had already closed his eyes as if he was carefully searching for something. After a long time, the beautiful young lady asked in a low voice, "What's the situation?" I've obtained most of the map information of this place. Ancient God Black Extreme drew back his hand and put away all the tools before speaking. Really? Lin Qingwu was slightly startled. In his opinion, everyone had been wandering aimlessly in the ruins at the beginning. If they had a map of this place, they would be able to plan their goals and reap the greatest benefits in the shortest amount of time. Other than the map, is there anything else? At this moment, Xiao Feng stepped forward and asked. His memories have been sealed by an extremely profound technique, so I can't inspect them at all. However, the map information is a separate piece of information from the automaton's brain, and it just so happened that the defenses failed, so I was able to obtain this map information. Ancient God Black Extreme had a frank expression. The beautiful young lady and Lin Qingwu both grimaced. They guessed that Ancient God Black Extreme had obtained more than this, but he was hiding some important information. Thus, the two of them decided to keep an eye on Ancient God Black Extreme. Swish! With a wave of his hand, Ancient God Black Extreme took out a somewhat crude map and presented it to the group. This map. Everyone's eyes focused on the map, and then they slowly focused on a single point. This is the core area of the God Eye ruins. The beautiful young lady called out in alarm. Everyone could roughly see that in the center of this map was a massive sphere, marked in red as the Forbidden Zone. In the center of the sphere was the symbol of an eye. Correct, and we're not too far from the core area. Ancient God Black Extreme nodded. Everyone's expressions flickered as they found it difficult to conceal the excitement in their hearts. When these massive ruins were still intact, it was certain that they would have been extremely glorious. For example, although there were only 2 crystal boxes left in the area where they were growing plants, the majority of the cultivation treasures inside had withered. However, these 7 ancient god experts were still madly fighting over them. It was hard to imagine just what sort of treasures and opportunities were hidden in the center of these ruins. Let's get moving. The beautiful young lady was rather impatient. The group chose the shortest route and headed straight for the core area on the map. After everyone left this place, no one discovered that a dark silver light of nothingness had lightly flitted through the air. Meow! The little thieving cat suddenly appeared, and with a single leap, it appeared next to the broken automaton. He waved his claws, and a mysterious and complicated diagram and text formed a dark silver halo that enveloped the mechanical puppet's brain. After a long while, the little thieving cat put down its paws, and after a few moments of thought, it vanished. In Ancient God Black Extreme's team, the little thieving cat reappeared on Xiao Feng's shoulder. This cat. The beautiful young lady shot a furious and envious glance at the cat. Lin Qingwu and Ancient God Black Extreme paid little attention to the little thieving cat's elusive movements. Standing on Xiao Feng's shoulder, the little thieving cat used its soul to send many messages to Xiao Feng. In the end, the little thieving cat returned to the interspatial dimension. So that's how it is. These ruins aren't God Eye ruins at all. Xiao Feng was secretly alarmed, but he showed no emotion on his face. Based on the information he had obtained from the little thieving cat and the suspicions he had noticed, Xiao Feng felt that this was probably a trap. But now that they were about to reach the core area, Xiao Feng also wanted to take a look. Of course, Xiao Feng had a way to preserve his life, which was why he dared to enter despite knowing the danger. Careful! There's a Yao god up ahead. Ancient God Black Extreme warned. It seems like the core area definitely has extremely important treasures and opportunities. The beautiful young lady excitedly said. Previously, when they were exploring the underground ruins, they rarely encountered Yao gods in the passages. But just as they were about to reach the core area, a Yao god appeared in the passage. But this only made them even more excited. Roar! The rank 7 Yao god with the eye of myriad forms roared at them. Get out of here! The rank 7 Yao god's surroundings surged with violent energy, and the colors in its enormous, multicolored eyes spun wildly as if declaring its fury. Ancient God Black Extreme's team said nothing as they charged forward, all of their eyes flashing with ripples of eye intent. Boom! Bang! The moment the two forces collided, the rank 7 Yao god was instantly killed. There are still many more ahead. We'll take turns distributing the high-level intent crystals in the bodies of Yao gods. After saying this, Ancient God Black Extreme put the Eye of Myriad Forms intent crystal into his interspatial dimension. As expected, the group didn't travel very far before encountering another rank 7 Yao god. After killing it, Lin Chenwu put away the high-grade profundity crystal. As they traveled deeper and deeper, the passage gradually widened. But the Yao gods they encountered were also getting stronger and stronger. Before they could even finish off the first Yao god, a second Yao god was already approaching. The group of people finally slowed down. The core area is 1,000 meters up ahead. Ancient God Black Extreme called out. The eyes of Lin Chenwu and the beautiful woman flashed with sharp light, and their fighting power suddenly increased. Boom! Bang! Crash! The group of 4 fiercely battled with the Yao god in front of them. After a long while, the group finally reached the end of the passage. In front of them was an enormous, translucent sphere. However, they couldn't see what was inside very clearly, and their divine senses couldn't penetrate it. There were 8 paths around the sphere, leading in every direction. The path they were on was one of them. The greatest treasure of these ruins was right in front of them, but they suppressed their excitement and stood their ground. This was because the path they were on to the center of the sphere was filled with an astonishing number of Yao gods. The weakest of these Yao gods was an outstanding rank 6, and the strongest were almost at the peak of rank 6. Roar! Many of the Yao gods noticed Ancient God Black Extreme's team and roared as they charged forward. There are so many of them! If we're not careful, we'll be buried here! The beautiful young woman's expression was somewhat ugly. If everyone stops hiding their cards, there's a very good chance that we can get through this path. Ancient God Black Extreme's cold and sinister gaze swept over the group. Any expert would have 1 or 2 trump cards. Moreover, this mission was special. The other members were all on guard against Ancient God Black Extreme and had even more cards hidden up their sleeves. As the group was hesitating, one of the 8 paths in the center of the sphere suddenly began to pulse with energy. 4 figures appeared at the mouth of the path. It's them! The beautiful woman and Lin Chenwu called out in alarm. The team that had suddenly appeared was Ancient God Profound Devil's team. Someone actually got here before us! The yellow-clothed youth called out in surprise. However, just as the two of them were sizing each other up, a series of loud rumbles came from another passage. A team of 4 quickly appeared in front of Ancient God Profound Devil and Ancient God Black Extreme's team. There's someone else? A black golden armored man spoke, his eyes gleaming with cold and sinister light. Ancient God Departed Spirit! Many of the members of the other 2 teams were extremely familiar with this black golden armored man. Other than Ancient God Departed Spirit, their team also had descendants of the Eye of Myriad Forms and the Eye of Space-Time. At the very back of these 3 was a slim woman with the Eye of Destiny. The 3 teams appeared on their respective paths. And each tunnel was filled with a terrifying number of demon immortals. At this moment, the pupil Yao immortals were already attacking the outsiders in the tunnel they were on. Chapter 1306. Go! Ancient God Black Extreme called out. At the same time, the other 2 squads that had arrived were also ready for battle. We have to get to the core area before them. The beautiful girl's eyes were grim. Who knew what sort of treasures and opportunities existed in the core area? But no matter what, getting to the core area before the other 2 teams was equivalent to seizing the initiative. The other 2 teams were of the same mind. They had to get to the core area before the other teams. From the looks of it, our team should have the highest fighting power. This was Lin Chenwu's conclusion after carefully inspecting the other 2 teams. Ancient God Profound Devil's team only had 3 people. Ancient God Departed Spirit's team had an Eye of Destiny that didn't have any fighting power. In short, Ancient God Black Extreme's team had the strongest fighting power. There's no need to worry. The team that gets to the core area first will be a huge variable. The slim woman with the Eye of Destiny said to the other 3 members of her team. We have to be the first to get to the core area. Ancient god departed spirit angrily snorted as he gloomily stared at Zhao Feng. Back in the God-Eye competition ground, he had lost to Zhao Feng. This time, his team and Zhao Feng's team were engaged in yet another battle. The other two teammates nodded their heads. Only by getting to the core area first would they be able to reap the greatest harvest. Death coil! Ancient god departed spirit's eye of death turned, and the black fog around him surged. Countless pitch-black tentacles reached out and swung forward. In a flash, several rank 6 Yao gods were instantly slain by Ancient God Departed Spirit. On the other side, Ancient God Profound Devil's team charged into the passage and clashed with the other Yao gods. Destruction Aurora! The azure-robed Elder's Eye of Destruction fired off a dazzling golden beam of light that shot forward. On Ancient God Black Extreme's side, Zhao Feng's team had already begun to move. Spatial Flash Flurry! Lin Chengwu activated his Eye of Space-Time, his eyes exploding with supreme eye intent. Xiao xiao xiao! Suddenly, countless white crystal blades shot out from his eyes, ignoring the distance between them and hitting the Eye Demon God in front of him. Death Ray Wave! Ancient God Black Extreme charged at the very front, unleashing a lethal Eye Bloodline technique at the reckless Eye Yao God. In the middle of the group was Zhao Feng, who occasionally used psychic illusions to confuse the Eye Demon gods and expose their weaknesses, making it easier for them to be killed. As for the beautiful woman's samsara immortal body, it charged at the front as a meat shield while she stood at the back. Ancient God Black Extreme's team quickly took the lead. But gradually, everyone's speed slowed down. After all, no one wanted to expose their trump cards. Moreover, the situation here was special. No one knew when something would happen, so they had to conserve their strength. But this way, the other teams slowly caught up. As a result, the distance the three squads advanced was never too far apart, and they slowly approached the core area. The number of Eye Demon gods hasn't increased. This means that the number of demon gods in each tunnel is fixed, Ancient God Black Extreme suddenly said. As soon as he said that, the other members of the team immediately became motivated. Earlier, they were all worried that if they advanced too quickly, the Yao gods in the other tunnels would rush over to their side. Kill! The 4 members of the team suddenly unleashed a burst of energy, fiercely pushing forward. Not good! Their team is made up of fighters, and they have an Eye of Samsara descendant. They're advancing too quickly. An Eye of Myriad Forms descendant in Ancient God Departed Spirits team exclaimed in shock. Even so, we can't let them leave us too far behind, and we certainly can't let the other team overtake us. Ancient God Departed Spirit bellowed, the black mist in front of his eyes becoming a bottomless black hole of death. Swoosh! Pitch black and sinister death spears shot out, easily killing a group of Eye Demon gods. Ancient God Profound Devil's team also began to pick up the pace. But in the end, Ancient God Black Extreme's team was the first to reach the core area. Hurry and kill them! The other 2 teams saw this and immediately threw caution to the wind, taking out some of their trump cards to kill the Yao gods. They couldn't see what was inside the crystal ball, but they all felt that if they were too late, Ancient God Black Extreme's team would take away all the treasures. Bzzzzz. Ancient God Black Extreme's team passed through a strange halo of light and arrived at the core area of the God Eye ruins. Deep in the core area, they could clearly see what was happening outside. But at this moment, no one cared about what was happening outside. Their eyes were wide open as they examined the scene before them in shock. They were currently in a small room within the giant sphere. The room was filled with all sorts of machines and instruments that they had never seen before. There were also many sealed test tubes filled with various liquids. This probably isn't a God Eye ruin. Lin Chengwu's expression darkened. I was also just speculating back then. Ancient God Black Extreme explained. This must be a Heaven's Legacy race ruin. The beautiful girl's eyes flashed with sharp light. Although it wasn't a God Eye ruin, a ruin of the Heaven's Legacy race was no less valuable than a God Eye ruin. Meow. At this moment, the little thieving cat came out, its black eyes tinged with silver stars as it scanned its surroundings. Ancient God Black Extreme couldn't help but stare at the little thieving cat in silence. That row of test tubes contains the primordial bloodline. The beautiful young woman's gaze suddenly focused on a row of different colored test tubes that were as thick as an arm. They were all God-Eye descendants, so their connections to the bloodlines of the 10,000 ancient races were rather weak. Coupled with the isolation of the test tubes, normal people wouldn't be able to sense them. However, the beautiful girl had a samsara immortal body, and they all had powerful ancient bloodlines in their lives. Really? Lin Chenwu was flabbergasted. The isolation of the test tubes made it impossible for them to sense what kind of bloodline was inside. But how could an ancient bloodline be ranked very low if it was placed here? Each test tube here was enough to create a powerful ancient race expert. At the same time, everyone turned their eyes to another place. These were tiny test tubes, each filled with a very small amount of liquid or powder. They appeared to be some kind of medicine made from some special materials. Go! The beautiful girl immediately ordered a samsara immortal body to approach the test tube that was suspected to contain some precious medicine. But the samsara immortal body's hand had only just touched the test tube. White bolts of light shot out from the room like bolts of lightning, completely obliterating the samsara immortal body. This place has been almost completely preserved. The precious items here are definitely beyond your imagination, but they're not things that can be casually taken. Ancient God Black Extreme's face was indifferent. Meow! The little thieving cat stood on his shoulder and put on a very haughty expression. But no one besides Zhao Feng could understand what the little thieving cat was saying. Ancient God Black Extreme, only you can take out the treasures of this place. Hurry and do it. The beautiful girl gave a charming laugh and said. At the same time, Lin Chenwu and Zhao Feng also turned to Ancient God Black Extreme as if they were working together to threaten him. Right at that moment, the other two squads also entered the core region. Everyone was stunned by the first sight they saw. There's no rush. Let's take what we can and then go in and take a look. Ancient God Black Extreme appeared unconcerned as he walked around the room and began to inspect it. The others also walked around the room, observing and attempting to take away anything. In the end, they obtained some extremely ordinary tools and proceeded to one of the rooms. What's going on here? The beautiful girl immediately screamed. In front of the crowd, there were enormous sealed grooves. Inside each of them were bodies that had existed for who knew how many years. Perhaps because the machines weren't working, these bodies were all lifeless. But all these bodies had one thing in common: they had no eyes. Where their eyes should be, there were only a few tubes as thin as hairs. The infusion tube extended to a special crystal box above. There was a pair of eyes in every crystal box, and they were all eyes of death. This place, could it be? Lin Chenwu felt a chill run down his spine. Based on what they could see, each body here belonged to a death god-eye descendant. But their eye bloodlines had all been dug out and used as experimental subjects. This should be a research base of the Heaven's Legacy Race's heaven-defying faction, and the subjects of their research are descendants of the 8 great god-eyes. Although this place only has the experimental bodies of death god-eye descendants, the other 7 passages should lead to other god-eye descendants. The beautiful girl revealed a look of disgust. After all, she was also a god-eye descendant. In addition, the Heaven's Legacy Race's heaven-defying faction and Sage faction were 2 factions that few people in the continent zone knew of. But the majority of true god experts in the ancient desolate realm of gods knew of this. Zhao Feng nodded. The beautiful girl's conjecture was probably correct. Just what is the Heaven's Legacy Race's heaven-defying faction trying to do? Lin Chenwu couldn't help but wonder. The heaven-defying faction would not engage in meaningless research. If this research base was aimed at descendants of the 8 great god-eyes, just what secrets did the heaven-defying faction want to discover? Most importantly, had they finished their research? This time, Lin Chenwu and the beautiful young lady couldn't wait to enter the next level. But at this moment, several enormous ripples of energy came from one of the passages. Everyone in the core area couldn't help but look outside. The people of the Blazing Gold race. 9 people in total, And one of them is a rank 8 true god. Everyone couldn't help but stare in shock, their hearts thumping. If they were at their peak, they wouldn't fear the blazing gold race. But none of them had gotten much rest since exploring the ruins, and dealing with the Yao gods outside the passage had taken an enormous toll on them. None of the 3 teams in the core area were in peak condition. The blazing gold race members seemed to have followed the path that ancient god Profound Devil had taken, so their journey had been smooth and unimpeded. They had not encountered any danger, and were all in peak condition. This should be the most precious core area of this relic, a violet-robed elder in the blazing gold race team said, his eyes gleaming. They should all be inside. Let's go in and kill them all. In the blazing gold race team, ancient god Giant Spirit gave a cruel smile. Chapter 1307. They should all be inside. Let's go in and kill them all. In the blazing gold race team, ancient god Giant Spirit gave a cruel smile. Haha, okay. Ancient god Gilded Gold had an excited look on his face, and the other members of the blazing gold race also rubbed their palms and prepared to attack. None of them had expected that by following the path of others, they would be able to find the core area of these ruins. Now, all they needed to do was enter the core area and kill everyone else that had entered, and these ruins would be the blazing gold races. Whoosh! 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 The blazing gold race team flew toward the core area. At the same time, the members of the 3 teams in the core area grimaced, especially the azure-robed elder and yellow-clothed youth of ancient god Profound Devil's team, their hearts burning with rage. If they were in the blazing gold race's shoes, they also understood what the blazing gold race was planning. What do we do? The blazing gold race has sent 9 ancient gods, and their leader is a rank 8 ancient god. The yellow-clothed youth of the life-sacred land had a worried look on his face. As a core disciple of the life-sacred land, even if the disciples of the blazing gold race wanted to curry favor with him, it would depend on his mood. But at this moment, the other party would definitely kill him mercilessly. The blazing gold race followed our path. We have to leave immediately and join up with the other teams in the core area. Only then will we have a chance of survival. Ancient god Profound Devil also had a worried expression. Once the blazing gold race team caught up, the 3 of them would be heavily injured, if not killed. That's right. Join up with the other teams. The azure-robed elder was in complete agreement. If the blazing gold race wanted to take these ruins for themselves, they would definitely not let any of the other teams go. The 3 teams that had arrived earlier were no match for the blazing gold race in a one-on-one fight. But if they worked together, they might be able to put up a fight. Swoosh! The 3 immediately set off, flying forward, no longer caring about the treasures in the core area. Their lives were more important. Without their lives, what use would anything else be? However, the core area was filled with countless rooms of various sizes, and all the buildings could block off divine sense. Finding a team would require some effort. At the same time, the other 2 teams in the core area knew that the situation was extremely grim, even though they were far from the blazing gold race. How did the Xiling Zone's blazing gold race know of this place? Lin Qingwu had a look of resentment on his face. At the start, he suspected that ancient god Black Extreme had leaked the information. From the looks of it now, this place was not an absolutely hidden place. There were many people who could discover its existence. So that's how it is. I was wondering why the blazing gold race's ancient god Gilded Gold could possess destruction energy. Xiao Feng wasn't too surprised. During the gambling match between the 2 races, he had heard quite a bit about ancient god Gilded Gold. It could be assumed that ancient god Gilded Gold had stumbled upon these ruins during his travels and obtained some sort of fortune. Let's go find the other 2 groups that entered the core area. Only by working together can we resist the blazing gold race. Ancient god Black Extreme immediately said, and then he took the lead. Lin Qingwu and the beautiful young woman also knew that this was the only feasible method at the moment, so the 2 of them immediately followed. Xiao Feng was the last to follow the 3 of them. As for the little thieving cat on his shoulder, it disappeared in a flash, running off to who knew where. The other side. Let's go this way. There's a team that's about to run into a deadly crisis from the blazing gold race. We must save them and work together. Only then will we have the strength to fight against the blazing gold race. The skinny woman's eyes flashed with colorful light before she suddenly spoke. Let's go. The other members of the team understood the situation and immediately began to move. Guided by the eye of destiny, the group weaved through the complicated rooms and finally heard the sounds of battle. Boom! Bang! Crash! The 9 members of the blazing gold race charged forward like 9 blazing suns. Run! Ancient God Profound Devil hurriedly called out, and he used his eye of myriad forms to create countless icy storms to obstruct the blazing gold race. Break! Ancient God Giant Spirit roared from the blazing gold race. His body, which was like a blazing sun, emitted a fierce golden light like that of a wild beast. He dashed forward and instantly dispersed the icy storm. Rank 8 Ancient God. The azure-robed elder was taken aback. That enormous and terrifying bloodline divine power aura made him feel a great sense of danger. Ancient God Giant Spirit, you want to kill me? The yellow-clothed youth from the life-sacred land angrily roared. Humph! Ancient God Giant Spirit coldly snorted and continued his pursuit. If not for the fact that he wasn't particularly skilled in speed, he would have already taken down the 3 people in front of him. However, a rank 8 Ancient God was still a rank 8 Ancient God. His intent was profound, his intent powerful, and his divine power pure. Even if he wasn't skilled in speed, he was still far faster than a rank 7 Ancient God. Slowly, Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 3 began to sense a searing physical pressure that was only getting stronger and stronger. They understood that the blazing gold race was about to catch up to them. Devil's shattering heaven flame palm. Ancient God Giant Spirit suddenly circulated his energy and fired off a palm. A scorching palm of fire howled toward Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 3. Block! Ancient God Profound Devil growled, immediately unleashing the myriad form's endless zone to protect himself and the other 2. At the same time, the azure-robed elder and yellow-clothed youth attacked with all their might to weaken Ancient God Giant Spirit's attack. At this moment, a pitch-black spear of death shot out from behind Ancient God Profound Devil's group, joining their attacks in attacking Ancient God Giant Spirit. Boom! Bang! A massive storm of energy wreaked havoc over the core area. The ruins had been completely destroyed, but the core area had been completely preserved. From this, one could see just how sturdy the core area was. But at this moment, the intense clash between the 2 sides caused the surrounding buildings to slightly twist, and many small instruments were destroyed. At the same time, the mechanisms around the room were activated, indiscriminately attacking everyone in the room. Retreat! Ancient God Giant Spirit called out. Even a rank 8 true god like him had to be cautious of the traps in the core area of the ruins. Whoosh! On the other side, Ancient God Profound Devil and the Slim Woman's team used this chance to escape. After them! Ancient God Giant Spirit immediately ordered. If the other team hadn't appeared just now, Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 3 would have already died to the blazing gold race. Now that there were 7 of them, killing them would be rather troublesome. But as long as they pursued relentlessly, there was still a chance of completely annihilating them. Whoosh! 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 The blazing gold race members charged forward in pursuit. But they didn't chase for long before they realized that the 7 had stopped in a certain room and had no intention of continuing to flee. Careful, it might be a trap! The violet-robed elder warned. In his view, the fact that they were able to safely reach this place meant that they were some sort of trap and array master. They couldn't rule out the possibility that they could use the traps of the core area to deal with them. But before the blazing gold race team could get close, Ancient God Profound Devil said, "There are 7 of us right now. If you want to kill all of us, it will be extremely difficult, and you'll have to pay a grievous price. Why don't we talk?" Ancient God Giant Spirit was stunned. He hadn't expected for the other party to stop and negotiate with him. The blazing gold race discovered this place long ago. If you are willing to hand over what you found on this journey, the blazing gold race will let you live. Ancient God Giant Spirit put on a negotiating appearance as he slowly approached the seven. Although he said this, if he had the chance, Ancient God Giant Spirit wouldn't leave a single one of them alive. The blazing gold race's demands are a little too high. Can we continue to talk? Ancient God Profound Devil put on a hesitant look. Then hand over 90%. The blazing gold race team slowly approached. 90% is fine, but let's see if you dare to take it. Ancient God Profound Devil's conflicted expression instantly shifted. At the same time, the others also unleashed powerful ripples of intent. Truly reckless. Do the seven of you think you can fight against the blazing gold race? Ancient God Giant Spirit jeered. But at this moment, 4 figures charged out of a room in the back. It was none other than Zhao Feng's group. The buildings in the core area were extremely unique, almost completely blocking out divine sense. Thus, the blazing gold race had no idea that other enemies were hiding nearby. Extreme Space Blade. Death Coil. Destruction Light. 5 Elements Yin-Yang Strike. In a flash, all the God Eye descendants used their ultimate Eye bloodline techniques to launch fierce attacks on the blazing gold race. The blazing gold race, which had the absolute advantage just a moment ago, had never imagined that the battle would turn out like this. Caught off guard, the blazing gold race suffered a major loss. The 9 of them had suffered injuries of varying sizes. Fortunately, the blazing gold race was skilled in defense, or else their losses would have been even greater. However, even though they had launched a surprise attack, Zhao Feng's side was still weaker than the blazing gold race. It's you, Zhao Feng. In the blazing gold race group, Ancient God Gilded Gold pointed at Zhao Feng and clenched his teeth. On the other end, Ancient God Gold Fury, who had lost to Zhao Feng in the gambling match, was also stunned. He's Zhao Feng? Ancient God Giant Spirit's eyes instantly landed on Zhao Feng, his eyes brimming with killing intent. In the gambling match between the two races, Zhao Feng had single-handedly reversed the situation and humiliated the blazing gold race. Everyone in the blazing gold race, even the workers, hated Zhao Feng. All the members of the blazing gold race were seething with killing intent, and they stared at Zhao Feng as if they wanted to swallow him whole. Although Zhao Feng's eye isn't a descendant of the 8 great god eyes, it's still extremely mysterious and powerful. We can't let him get anything from this place, or else he'll become a massive obstacle for the blazing gold race in the future. Ancient God Giant Spirit's voice resounded in the minds of all the members of the blazing gold race. And these 10-some people are just too exhausted. Once they recover, we'll be the ones to lose. The violet-robed elder messaged, his expression darkening. The members of the blazing gold race quickly reached a consensus. Kill. Suddenly, the 8 members of the blazing gold race charged forward. What's going on? The azure-robed elder was stunned. The members of the blazing gold race had been gloomy just a moment ago, but now they were seething with killing intent as they charged forward. They were willing to fight to the death with no regard for their own lives. They've gone crazy! Ancient God Departed Spirit silently cursed. He believed that the 3 teams working together would be able to intimidate the blazing gold race, and had just breathed a sigh of relief. But the blazing gold race seemed to have gone mad. Even though the 2 sides were evenly matched in strength, they still attacked. Chapter 1308. The blazing gold race's sudden assault caught the God Eye descendants off guard. Devil's Shattering Sky Flame Palm. Ancient God Giant Spirit led the charge. Circulating his divine power, he unleashed a massive palm of golden flames that seemed capable of extinguishing the sun. At the same time, the other members of the blazing gold race charged forward. Their target is me! Zhao Feng's heart chilled. He realized that everyone on the blazing gold race's side was targeting him. Of course, the other God Eye descendants had also noticed this. They want to kill Zhao Feng! The yellow-robed youth from the life-sacred land immediately called out. He was well aware of the grudge between the blazing gold race and Zhao Feng. Damn this brat! Ancient God departed spirit glanced at Zhao Feng and cursed. It turned out that the blazing gold race's fierce assault was largely due to Zhao Feng. But now, they had no time to run in the face of the blazing gold race's frenzied assault, so they could only work together to block. Death Spear! Heaven Void Slash! The God-Eye descendants once more activated their eye bloodlines to block. As for the God-Eye descendants, the slim woman with the Eye of Destiny had long ago vanished. She had clearly anticipated the urgency of the situation and retreated. After all, the Eye of Destiny was extremely weak. If they stayed near the battlefield, they could be killed by the shockwaves. Kill! The members of the Blazing Gold race were all brimming with fighting spirit and peerless power. Although the Blazing Gold race's primary target was Zhao Feng, it had no intention of letting the others go. Retreat! Ancient God Profound Devil roared. The God-Eye descendants had been constantly using eye bloodline techniques, and before entering the core area, the majority of them had even used up their most exhausting trump cards. Not only had they expended enormous amounts of divine power, but their eye bloodlines were also exhausted. Let's retreat for now. Once we recover some strength, we'll counterattack, Ancient God Black Extreme said. After blocking the first round of attacks, the God-Eye descendants immediately chose to retreat. But the Blazing Gold race was still unwilling to let them go. Even after the God-Eye descendants had left the core area, the Blazing Gold race was still in pursuit. In addition, their escape route had to be free of traps, or else they would be walking to their deaths. Thus, the God-Eye descendants continued to circle around the core area. Damn, has the Blazing Gold race gone mad? Just how long are they going to keep chasing us? The beautiful young woman shouted. It's better to hand over Zhao Feng. The Blazing Gold race's primary target is Zhao Feng. One person in the team transmitted his voice to everyone except Zhao Feng. The others immediately began to think. Only Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil had different expressions. Even so, the Blazing Gold race still won't let us go. Suddenly, Ancient God Profound Devil messaged everyone. The others were puzzled. If the Blazing Gold race would let us go if we handed over Zhao Feng, they would have already made this request. From the fact that they've been relentlessly pursuing us, it seems like they want to force us out of this place. Ancient God Black Extreme also spoke. Everyone was puzzled. Logically speaking, it was impossible for these two to protect Zhao Feng. However, the two of them were right. Although the Blazing Gold race's primary target was Zhao Feng, they would not so easily let the others go. After all, once the God-Eye descendants recovered their peak strength, they would be far stronger than the Blazing Gold race. Thus, the Blazing Gold race only had two primary targets. The first was to kill Zhao Feng, and the second was to drive out the other God-Eye descendants. Whoosh! 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 A string of figures flew into a massive central hall. This place is... All the God-Eye descendants were taken aback. They had only been randomly running around the core area, not even trying to figure out their route. The hall they had entered was extremely large, and the walls were decorated with solemn murals and Heaven's Legacy race characters. It was completely different from the other rooms they had passed through. The hall was also surrounded by large mechanical devices that they couldn't understand. But what attracted their attention the most was the massive octagonal device in the center. 8 transparent crystals extended from the octagonal device, and within each of these crystals floated a pair of eyes. The eyes of the 8 great God-Eye descendants were all within these crystals. This place should be the most valuable place in the core area, the beautiful girl immediately said. The gazes of the others were all focused on the 8 pairs of eyes. Those eyes of spacetime are close to the quasi-God-Eye level. The Eye of Death is also close to that level. All the God-Eye descendants couldn't help but gasp. The 8 pairs of God-Eye descendants here were all close to the quasi-God-Eye level. Just what is this research-based researching that it managed to produce 8 pairs of God-Eye descendants that are close to the quasi-God-Eye level? Lin Chengwu was extremely shocked. But based on their understanding and reasoning, they naturally couldn't guess what the Heaven's Legacy race was trying to do. Kaboom! At this moment, a pressure that seemed capable of burning all things rumbled forward. Devil shattering heaven flame palm! The moment ancient god giant spirit appeared, he unleashed a palm at the god-eye descendants. Only then did he take a look at the situation. Let's go! Ancient god profound devil called out. The god-eye descendants once more fled, at the same time observing the situation behind them. This hall was the most crucial part of the core area. They didn't know if the blazing gold race would give up on the pursuit and choose to fight for the treasure. But to everyone's surprise, the blazing gold race chose to continue the pursuit. The pursuit continued for a long time. The god-eye descendants, who had already expended a great deal of energy, were even more out of sorts. A few of them were even attacked by the blazing gold race and sustained significant injuries as they were pursued. Once more, the group arrived at the central hall of the core area. The god-eye descendants stared at the octagonal device in the center, their hearts pounding in excitement. This isn't the way to go on. The beautiful girl's eyes were rather gloomy. She was not very fighting, and her ability to flee was also weak. In the early explorations of the god-eye ruins, the samsara immortal bodies had been used as cannon fodder. As long as the samsara immortal bodies were not completely killed, they could constantly recover, but once they were completely killed, the Eye of Samsara would have to pay a price and spend time to summon them back. Unless we leave these ruins, they won't let us go. The yellow-clothed youth from the life-sacred land had a hesitant look in his eyes. He was already planning to retreat. Fight it out with them. As long as we can kill that rank 8 ancient god, the other rank 7 ancient gods will be easy to deal with. Ancient god departed spirit's face was savage, and his mind was boiling with rage. Then let's stay and fight it out with them. Ancient god profound devil softly chuckled. Ancient god departed spirit immediately stared at ancient god profound devil. He had said those words just now purely out of anger. He was rather surprised that the usually calm ancient god profound devil had agreed to those words out of anger. The others couldn't help but look at ancient god profound devil. At this moment, the blazing gold race members caught up. You're not running anymore? Ancient god giant spirit gave a mocking laugh. In truth, he was also rather angry. These god-eye descendants had been chased for so long, but they still weren't willing to give up on the treasures of the core area. Haha, you're at death's door and you still don't know! Ancient god Black Extreme suddenly laughed, his cold and sinister gaze shooting at ancient god giant spirit. At this moment, the god-eye descendants stared in shock at ancient god Black Extreme. Ancient god profound devil's words just now were off, and now, ancient god Black Extreme was acting like a madman, speaking without thinking. Even if everyone on their side recovered to their peak state, it was still rather unrealistic for them to kill a rank 8 ancient god of the blazing gold race. But Zhao Feng's eyes suddenly turned solemn. He knew long ago that ancient god Black Extreme, ancient god Profound Devil, and the Slim Woman were in cahoots. These three groups of god-eye descendants had also been organized by them, but Zhao Feng had no idea what their goal was. However, the appearance of the blazing gold race was probably an accident. What sort of ability do these two have to say such words to ancient god giant spirit? Zhao Feng began to think. He didn't know what sort of changes ancient god Black Extreme and ancient god Profound Devil would cause. But Zhao Feng's mind inexplicably became uneasy. Right, the Eye of Destiny has disappeared. Zhao Feng suddenly realized something. Haha, I originally thought that it would be enough to just drive you out of these ruins, but now that you've sent yourselves to your deaths, don't blame me. Ancient god giant spirit's eyes exploded with cold light, and his golden body was instantly covered in a layer of golden flames. A boundless scorching pressure rumbled toward the god-eye descendants. Kill! The other members of the blazing gold race all activated their physical strength, golden flames seething around them like miniature suns. Whoosh! At this moment, a figure suddenly emerged from a side path of the central hall. It was none other than the Slim Woman who had fled to some place earlier. You're finally here! Ancient god Profound Devil sneered. Whoosh! Whoosh! Ancient God Profound Devil and Ancient God Black Extreme broke away from the group of God Eye descendants and arrived at the slim woman's side. The three of you? The many God Eye descendants turned to the trio, grimacing. Ancient God Profound Devil, Ancient God Black Extreme, and the slim woman were the leaders of the three groups. Among them, Ancient God Black Extreme was the founder of Xiao Feng's group. Xiao Feng's group shivered as they smelled the scent of a scheme. What do you want to do? If you break away from the group, you'll only bring about our destruction. The beautiful woman immediately rebuked. Who said that there were only three of us? Ancient God Profound Devil faintly chuckled. Swish. 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 At the same time, three black-robed figures emerged from the passage. All of them were God Eye descendants. Hey, truly, you lot. Our three groups were dealt with long ago. A black-robed man with the eye of divine punishment mocked. But since you ran into the blazing gold race, it's normal that your plan didn't go smoothly. A tall and muscular man calmly said. There's someone else? The blazing gold race's ancient god giant spirit's expression darkened, but he was in no rush to attack. He had no idea where the woman with the eye of destiny had found three more helpers. If they worked together, the blazing gold race was certain to lose. But something didn't seem right about the situation. There were 6 of them. Xiao Feng's eyes lit up in surprise. These 6 were the 3 black-robed men who had just arrived, Ancient God Black Extreme, Ancient God Profound Devil, and the Slim Woman. However, Xiao Feng was pondering their words. Those 3 groups were dealt with long ago. What does that mean? Xiao Feng's eyes were gradually filled with shock. He couldn't help but think that these 6 people had each led a team to explore these ruins. But before that, the members of the other 3 teams had all been killed. Heh, after playing around with you all for so long, it's finally over. Ancient God Profound Devil coldly said. The other 5 all stepped forward. The 6 of them stood in a row, and each of their eye bloodlines suddenly surged with origin power. Not good. Xiao Feng grimaced, his heart thumping in his chest. For some reason, the moment he saw this, he couldn't help but recall the scene of the 5 God Eye descendants using a secret art to heavily wound true God Tian Fa back in the continent zone. Chapter 1309. I've been playing with you guys for a long time, and now it's finally over. Ancient God Profound Devil coldly said. Originally, the 3 of them planned to have the members of the team meet in the core area and then fight and kill each other, ultimately capturing all the God Eye descendants in one fell swoop. But the appearance of the blazing gold race had ruined their plans. Even if the 2 sides were to fight and both sides were heavily injured in the end, the 3 of them would not be able to clean up the mess. That was why the thin woman had left in search of her other companions. Now that the 6 of them had gathered, they no longer had to flee. The other 5 people stepped forward. The 6 of them stood in a row, and each of their eye bloodlines suddenly surged with a shocking amount of origin energy. Not good. Xiao Feng's expression changed abruptly, and his heart skipped a beat. For some reason, the scene of the 5 God Eye descendants using a secret technique to severely injure true God Tian Fa appeared in his mind when he saw this scene. However, the others didn't think so. I don't know why you've lured us here, but your plan has failed. What's the use of your current strength? Ancient God Departed Spirit sneered. Ancient God Profound Devil, Ancient God Black Extreme, and the Cold Woman were the leaders of their teams and the ones who had initiated this mission. Now they were walking with another group of people. The God Eye descendants naturally understood that this God Eye ruin had been a trap from the very start. If the blazing gold race hadn't appeared, the 3 groups in the core area would have probably begun to slaughter each other. But the appearance of the blazing gold race had caused the 3 factions to ally together, ruining their plans. However, the current situation was not good either. They were originally no match for the blazing gold race, but now, Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil had left. However, Ancient God Profound Devil's team only had 6 people, and the Eye of Destiny had no fighting power. They could be considered the weakest of the 3 factions. However, The mysterious mission initiators were the most arrogant ones present. He had said in front of the blazing gold race that ancient god giant spirit's death was imminent, and now he was saying that he wanted everything to end. Many members of the blazing gold race were furious, but they were stopped by ancient god giant spirit and the violet-robed elder. They couldn't defeat everyone here, so they had to be cautious. No matter what you want to do, it's all over now. Ancient god profound devil's gaze indifferently swept over the crowd, no one in his eyes. The moment he finished speaking, the origin energy of the 6 god-eye descendants was activated. Origin energy? What do they want to do? The god-eye descendants were all shocked. The origin energy was the foundation of the eye, and it was rarely used unless it was absolutely necessary. The blazing gold-eye descendants were not. The origin energy of 6 god wasn't enough for them to care. In the crowd, the person with the greatest change in expression was Zhao Feng. God knew it. Zhao Feng couldn't help but take a few steps back. He had personally witnessed the power of the God-Eye fusion art. Even if it was an expert of a higher level, it could be instantly killed. Zhao Feng calmed down. Zhao. Origin energy. But a moment later, Zhao Feng's eyes turned grave. The 6 god-eye descendants, led by ancient god Profound Devil, all began to form spells to control their origin energies and fuse them together. It seems like I underestimated them. Zhao Feng's heart tightened. He remembered that of the 5 god-eye descendants in the continent zone, 4 of them had only released their origin energy for Sacred King Samsara to control. But now, all 6 of them were controlling their origin energy. This meant that the power of the God-Eye fusion art would be even more refined and perfect. On the blazing gold race's side, ancient god giant spirit and the violet-robed elder slightly frowned. They felt like something was wrong. Ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6 was far too confident and calm, and their current actions were also very strange. We can't act recklessly. If we attack ancient god Profound Devil's team, Zhao Feng's team will definitely work together with them to deal with us. The violet-robed elder messaged the others. But a moment later, ancient god giant spirit growled and transformed into a ball of golden light that shot toward ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6. It appeared that ancient god Profound Devil's team wasn't much of a threat to them. But ancient god giant spirit sensed that what they were doing was not simple. If they didn't stop them, something terrifying would happen. Devil's shattering heaven flame palm. Ancient god giant spirit fused his physical body and bloodline divine power into a massive mountain of golden flames that rumbled toward ancient god Profound Devil's team. Go! Ancient god Profound Devil sensed ancient god giant spirit's movements and used his mind to take out a triangular piece of metal from his interspatial dimension. Ding ding! Crack! The triangular piece of metal was activated, and several complicated patterns appeared on its surface. Following that, rays of dark silver light screens shot out from 3 sides, forming a seamless barrier that enveloped the 6 of them. Bang! Ancient god giant spirit's peerless palm fiercely slammed against the silver curtain of light. However, his all-out attack was actually blocked by the dark silver barrier. Kaboom! The 2 energies fiercely clashed. After a long while, the silver barrier gradually dimmed, but the power of ancient god giant spirit's palm had also completely vanished. Ding ding! The triangular piece of metal fell to the ground. It was obvious that this was a one-time use item. Once it was used up, it would become useless. Everyone present, including ancient god giant spirit, was startled. It could easily block the full-strength attack of a rank 8 ancient god. This could be considered a life-saving trump card. He actually managed to block it. Ancient god giant spirit grimaced, and then he began to circulate his energy in preparation to strike again. But at this moment, he suddenly sensed a power that reigned over all things, a deadly crisis descending on his body. Boom! Bzzz. Above the heads of ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6 floated a mysterious and distorted energy. This energy was ethereal, as if it didn't exist, but it was able to affect all things in the world, as if it was the ruler of the world. From a distance, One could even make out a faintly discernible eye within this ethereal energy. Whoosh! Ancient god giant spirits swiftly retreated back to the blazing gold race team. This energy. On the other side, the god-eye descendants all grimaced. Their eyes were fixed on the indistinct ball of energy above ancient god profound devil's group. How could this be? It's the energy of a god-eye. All the god-eye descendants could clearly sense the supreme god-eye energy that was unique in the world. If they hadn't personally seen this group of 6 use a secret art and display this energy, they would never have believed it. They would even believe that one of these 6 possessed a god-eye, or that they had a god-eye deity backing them. Not good! Retreat for now! Ancient god giant spirit called out as he took the lead in flying away. This energy was simply too terrifying. It was absolutely capable of posing a lethal threat to him. When he thought back to his previous actions, ancient god profound devil's group of 6 would never let the blazing gold race go. Let's go! The other members of the blazing gold race saw that ancient god profound devil was leaving and immediately followed. On the other side, Xiao Feng was also thinking about retreating. Today, not a single person will be able to escape. The indistinct ancient god profound devil coldly laughed. Seal! The 6 of them began to form spells as if sensing the indistinct energy above them. Suddenly, an indistinct barrier of light erupted from the indistinct energy, and spread out in every direction. In a flash, this barrier of light engulfed the entire central hall. A domain? Ancient god giant spirit, who was just about to escape, sensed the domain energy in front of him. He immediately circulated his energy, fused it with space intent, and punched. Boom! Bang! The fiery fist was intercepted when it reached the boundary of the void. Even more bizarre was that the power of the fist gradually weakened. Less than 2 seconds later, the sun-like fiery light was reduced to a tiny firefly and eventually vanished. This is... On the other side, Xiao Feng's expression turned grim. Ancient god giant spirit's fist did no damage to the domain. It was as if its energy had been absorbed. If this was the case, not even he would be able to escape. They were also using the god-eye fusion art, but the secret art used by ancient god profound devil's group of 6 was clearly of a higher level. Furthermore, the 6 of them were all capable of controlling that power. Thus, the abilities that they were capable of unleashing were also extremely varied. All of you are like turtles in a jar. Ancient god Black Extreme coldly laughed. You intruded on our territory without our permission. Your only fate is death. Ancient god profound devil's gaze fell on the blazing gold race group. Buzz! Bzzz! As they formed spells, the indistinct energy above their heads seemed to respond and began to beat like a heart. Suddenly, an indistinct chain shot out. The front of this chain had a sharp awl. Thish! The chain shot toward the blazing gold race member ancient god giant spirit. Damn! Ancient god giant spirit's face was ashen as he took out a square golden shield. Clink clang! The awl at the front of the chain pierced straight into the golden square shield. How could this be? That's a high-quality divine artifact. Ancient god giant spirit began to panic. He couldn't sense just what kind of energy the chain contained. However, this power gave him a sense of deadly danger. It easily pierced through his high-quality defensive god artifact. Although this was only a low-quality high-quality divine artifact, it was still a high-quality divine artifact. Swish! A few moments later, the chain pierced through the golden shield. But before this happened, ancient god giant spirit had already dodged. The chain passed through the spot where his body had vanished. Swoosh! A member of the blazing gold race in the back was pierced by the chain. Bang! The moment his body was pierced through, it exploded. The golden soul within his body was also pulled in by the chain. No matter how it struggled, it couldn't break free. In the end, his soul gradually dimmed and vanished. An instant kill in one blow. There was no doubt about it. Everyone had witnessed the entire process. Their bodies were frozen in place, like petrified statues in an ice house. A rank 8 ancient god had to flee, A high-quality divine artifact had been broken, and a rank 7 ancient god had been instantly killed. Just what sort of power was this? Chapter 13:10. He actually dodged it. Ancient God Profound Devil's calm voice broke the silence. Just what kind of energy was that? The violet-robed elder of the Blazing Gold race team said in a trembling voice. It killed a rank 7 ancient god without even being able to struggle, instantly obliterating even his soul. Anyone else who was pierced by that indistinct chain would probably suffer the same fate. Nearby, ancient god Giant Spirit's face was ghastly pale, his heart still palpitating in fear. Even though he was a rank 8 ancient god, if he hadn't dodged just now, he would probably have been instantly killed just like that person. Val Feng's expression chilled. Back in the continent zone, Sacred King Samsara's secret art was only used once before consuming all its energy, making it extremely powerful and extremely difficult to dodge. The secret art used by these 6 didn't seem to consume much energy after being used once, and could be used again. However, the power and performance of the attack were all weakened. How could this be? How could they be so strong? Ancient God Departed Spirit was stunned. He had previously said that Ancient God Profound Devil's group wouldn't be able to do anything. But now, Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 had displayed a mysterious energy that was imbued with the energy of a god eye that instantly killed a rank 7 ancient god. Next time, you won't be so lucky! Ancient God Profound Devil coldly snorted. At the same time, Ancient God Black Extreme began to form a spell. Another chain extended from the ball of void energy above their heads. It was exactly the same as the first chain. Oh no! Ancient God Giant Spirit grimaced. This time, he seemed to still be the target, and there was an extra chain, making it even harder for him to dodge. Everyone, they've already sealed off this place. If we don't get rid of them, we'll all die here. Ancient God Giant Spirit worriedly suggested to the God Eye descendants on Zhao Feng's side that they work together. That's all we can do right now. Ancient God Departed Spirit's expression darkened. From the very start, Ancient God Profound Devil's target had been the God Eye descendants. Although Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 was dealing with the Blazing Gold race group, they would never let them go. We have to undo their secret art. The green-robed old man's eyes flickered. The secret art used by Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 possessed the power to annihilate all. Even Ancient God Giant Spirit feared it. But once their secret art was broken, the 6 of them would just be ordinary rank 7 ancient gods. Whether it was the Blazing Gold race or the temporary alliance of the Azure-robed Elder, Ancient God Departed Spirit, and Zhao Feng, all of them could deal with them. In addition, the Azure-robed Elder was extremely interested in the secret art of Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. Zhao Feng didn't avoid allying with the Blazing Gold race. After all, the most important thing right now was to leave alive. Zhao Feng sensed that he was one of the main targets of Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6, so he urgently wanted to eliminate this threat. Gradually, the Blazing Gold race and Zhao Feng's group began to move toward the center. Useless. Ancient God Profound Devil had an indifferent expression as if he didn't care. Ding ding! 2 chains shot out from within the void energy. Seeing these 2 chains that were like poisonous snakes of death, everyone's hearts couldn't help but turn cold. Dodge! The Azure-robed Elder called out in alarm. If one was hit by the void chain, one would definitely die. The chain's target is me. Use this chance to attack them and break their secret art. Ancient God Giant Spirit bellowed as he used a secret speed skill, transforming into a golden streak of light and flying away. Okay. The God Eye descendants charged at Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. The other members of the Blazing Gold race did their utmost to attack the chains so that they could obstruct them and give Ancient God Giant Spirit a chance to dodge. There's finally something to do! The other 3 God Eye descendants in Ancient God Profound Devil's group all began to form spells to sense the void energy above them. Bzzz. The eyeball-like distorted power immediately spread out a curtain of nothingness that enveloped the 6 of them. Death Light Wave! Destruction light! The owners of the Eye of Death and Destruction in Zhao Feng's group circulated their eye intent and used their powerful eye bloodline techniques. A layer of dark black light wave and a dazzling golden ray of light instantly descended on the illusory light screen. But the scene they imagined did not appear. The powerful attacks of the two God-eye descendants landed on the barrier of light, but they only caused a ripple to appear. Swish! Destruction and death energies attacked the screen with all their might, attempting to break it. But in the end, these two energies were completely exhausted, and their attacks had no effect. How could this be? Even death intent and destruction intent are useless? The azure-robed elder was stunned. Death and destruction were two of the most powerful intent energies. However, their attacks did not cause any damage to the illusory light screen at all. Let me try! Lin Chengwu's body flickered as he activated his Eye of Spacetime. Extreme Space Blade! A golden-silver blade condensed in front of his eye. Thish! The golden-silver blade suddenly vanished, and when it reappeared, it was in front of the screen. Even space intent is useless! Lin Chengwu was alarmed. Just now, he wanted to use his spacetime eye bloodline technique to pierce through the screen and attack one of the people within. But when his extreme space blade approached the screen, it was forced to reveal itself. Swoosh! Swish! The piercing golden-silver blade collided with the screen, but in the end, it ran out of energy and slowly faded away. Earth-shaking Nova! Zhao Feng also used a few eye bloodline techniques. But they were all stopped by the screen. On the other side, Ancient God Giant Spirit was powerful and had many tricks up his sleeves. Coupled with the help of the other members of the Blazing Gold race, the two chains were unable to take his life. As Ancient God Giant Spirit fled, he would occasionally observe the progress of Zhao Feng's side. How could this be? Not even the intent energy of a God-eye descendant can break through their secret defense? Ancient God Giant Spirit's face was ashen. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 could be said to have the strongest spear and shield. Ancient God Profound Devil, don't save any more energy. Just kill that rank 8 true God, and the rest will be easy to deal with. The slim woman's eye of destiny scanned the battlefield as she spoke. Okay. Ancient God Profound Devil's expression darkened, his eyes exploding with cold light. Suddenly, the two chains shrunk back to their original position. What's going on? Ancient God Giant Spirit was taken aback as he solemnly stared at Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. This was a clear indication that their opponents would not so easily stop. Not good! They're going to change their method of attack. Zhao Feng's heart sank. He was keenly aware of the true power of this secret art. Buzz! Bzzz! At this moment, the indistinct ball of energy began to twist and exude a mysterious luster. This faint luster faintly outlined an indistinct eye. Not good! Ancient God Giant Spirit's body trembled. As this eye of void stared at him, he felt like his flesh, divine power, and soul had all given up on resisting and directly submitted. At this moment, Ancient God Giant Spirit truly sensed an unprecedented danger of death, and his soul began to tremble. Boom! Suddenly, the eye of void exploded with light, and then a ball of indistinct energy shot out. No, I don't want to die! Ancient God Giant Spirit's eyes almost popped out of their sockets, a look of fear and despair on their faces. He could clearly sense that no matter where he ran, he would not be able to avoid this attack. But Ancient God Giant Spirit did not want to just die like this. He burned his origin divine power, transforming into a golden sun as he prepared to flee in another direction. But just when he was about to move, that ethereal, mysterious, all-dominating power descended right in front of him. No! Bang! Apocalyptic explosions swallowed up Ancient God Giant Spirit's screams. Several spatial cracks appeared in the center of the explosion, tearing at everything around them. In the end, when the destructive storm stopped, nothing was left in that area. Ancient God Giant Spirit had been instantly killed. Ancient God Giant Spirit! This is impossible! After a few moments of shock, all the members of the Blazing Gold race began to cry out in alarm. The leader of their team, the strongest ancient god giant spirit, had been instantly slain by his foe. What sort of energy is this? The god-eye descendants around Zhao Feng were also stunned, swallowing their saliva in shock. Even if I'm a samsara immortal body, I can't escape death. The beautiful girl couldn't help but tremble. She had never feared death before, but for the first time, she felt the terror of death. That's how it should be. If we don't show them what we're made of, they'll think that they're so amazing. Ancient God Black Extreme sneered. That move just now was too powerful. It almost destroyed all the precious research results here. Let's take them away first. The slim woman calmly said. The attack that killed ancient god giant spirit had already destroyed a nearby machine and almost destroyed the octagonal device in the center. The rest of them nodded in agreement. Their primary mission this time was to take away the research results and data from these ruins. Capturing the god-eye descendants was just a side mission. Swish! 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 The 6 of them took out various strange tools and activated them. A moment later, the many devices in the central hall began to react and operate. Ding ding! Crack! Many of the devices began to shrink and move in front of the 6. They can actually control the devices of the Heaven's Legacy race. How could this be? Could they be members of the Heaven's Legacy race? Everyone stared in shock at this sight. However, Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 had already forgotten about the others and were focused on their own tasks. It didn't take long before the central hall became rather empty, leaving only the octagonal device in the center. We can't operate this device. Take away the research results and the data inside. Ancient God Profound Devil straightforwardly said, and then he tried to operate the device. Several strange sounds could be heard. The transparent crystals holding the eyes of the 8 god-eye descendants detached from the octagonal device. Eyes close to the quasi-god eye. Ancient God Departed Spirit was startled. If he could obtain a pair of eyes of death that were close to the quasi-god eye level, his eye of death might be able to absorb the energy within them and undergo an enormous transformation. Evolving it to the quasi-god eye level was not impossible. But at this moment, he didn't dare to do anything. The other god-eye descendants also deeply desired those 8 pairs of eyes, but none of them dared to do anything. But at this moment, a dark silver light flashed in front of one of the entrances to the central hall. Thish! In an instant, the streak of light arrived above a transparent crystal, and the little thieving cat's slender body was revealed. Not good. It's a Heaven's Legacy cat. Ancient God Profound Devil immediately called out. Is it really a Heaven's Legacy cat? In Ancient God Profound Devil's team, the Eye of Divine Punishment that arrived later was stunned. Chapter 13:11. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on the little thieving cat. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 was stunned to encounter a real Heaven's Legacy cat here. Everyone else was shocked. That thieving cat was so reckless as to dare encroach on the bloodlines of 8 god-eye descendants. But when they saw the expressions on the faces of Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6, they couldn't help but be surprised and confused. From their appearance, this cat seemed to be extremely extraordinary. It seemed to be on the same level as the 8 pairs of god-eye descendants. Little thieving cat! Zhao Feng was shocked. Outsiders could not carelessly touch the equipment of the Heaven's Legacy race, as there would inevitably be traps. In addition, the 8 pairs of god-eye descendant eyes were the primary target of Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. If the little thieving cat jumped onto them, it would definitely infuriate them. But in the next instant, the little thieving cat's actions once more stunned everyone, including Zhao Feng. The little thieving cat opened its mouth wide and swallowed a translucent crystal under its paw. Not good, the Heaven's Legacy cat has swallowed the research results. Ancient God Profound Devil grimaced. As expected of a Heaven's Legacy cat. Even swallowing an important instrument of the Heaven's Legacy race was not affected at all. The eye of divine punishment in ancient god profound devil's team sighed in surprise. Why is this cat so powerful? Lin Chengwu, who had seen the little thieving cat before, paused. However, it's really courting death. I don't know what its master is thinking. The yellow-clothed youth of the life-sacred land sneered. In his view, the little thieving cat's actions were definitely ordered by Zhao Feng. However, the little thieving cat had angered ancient god profound devil's group of 6, so it was certain to be their next target. Anyone who faced that mysterious power would die, and the little thieving cat was no exception. Xiao! The little thieving cat swallowed one of the transparent crystals that contained an eye bloodline and then quickly left. Catch it! Ancient god profound devil immediately called out. There's no need for you to say anything. This is a Heaven's Legacy cat, so we naturally can't let it go. Ancient god Black Extreme's eyes flashed. The others also stared at the little thieving cat, determined to obtain it. Buzz! The 6 of them formed hand seals at the same time, causing the power of the Eye of Nothingness above their heads to twist and crackle. Suddenly, 3 illusory belts of light extended from within. Xiao! 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 The instant the ribbon of light appeared, it shot toward the little thieving cat with lightning speed. However, after the little thieving cat's transformation, its movement technique had reached perfection. Even Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye could only barely catch its movements. Xiao! The little thieving cat turned into a streak of dark silver light and disappeared. But ancient god profound devil's group of 6 somehow managed to track the little thieving cat's escape route. They controlled the 3 belts of light to change directions and surround the little thieving cat from 3 different directions. Everyone, this is an opportunity! Ancient god departed spirit's eyes darkened as he messaged the others. Needless to say, everyone immediately understood. At this moment, the majority of ancient god profound devil's group of 6 was focused on the little thieving cat. This was the perfect opportunity for their counterattack. So. The God Eye descendants and the blazing gold race charged forward. Death Spear! Extreme Space Blade! Blazing Fire God Fist! For a moment, both sides unleashed powerful attacks on ancient god profound devil's group of 6. Humph, I knew that you would do this. If not for the appearance of the Heaven's Legacy cat, you wouldn't even have a chance to jump around. Ancient god Black Extreme sneered. Other than the 3 controlling the belts of light, the other 3 immediately summoned their own energy to form a defensive barrier. Although there were many attackers, they were extremely confident in the power produced by the God Eye fusion art. Unless it was a certain level of energy, it would be useless. Boom! Bang! Crash! All the attacks landed on the barrier, but they were still unable to shake it in the slightest. Just what kind of energy is this? It can actually stop the all-out attacks of so many people. After his shock, ancient god departed spirit grimaced. The others were also infuriated. The strength of this energy had already defied common sense. It seems like these 6 people often cultivate this secret art. Otherwise, how could they use the power of the God Eye fusion art with such familiarity and precision? Zhao Feng was rather stunned. Moreover, these people were skilled in mechanisms and arrays, and they could even use the machines of the Heaven's Legacy race. In Zhao Feng's view, these people belonged to some faction. Continue the attack! This energy can't be used limitlessly, Lin Chengwu called out. This statement was immediately agreed upon by the others present. If they did nothing, it would be the same as waiting for death. Moreover, Lin Chengwu's words were absolutely correct. This energy could not be limitless. Otherwise, ancient god profound devil's group of 6 would not have instantly killed ancient god giant spirit right from the start. Boom! Bang! Crash! The God Eye descendants and blazing gold race once more roused themselves and began to use powerful combat skills to bombard the barrier. Damn these people! Ancient god Black Extreme clenched his teeth and grunted. The God Eye fusion art extracted the origin energy from the eyes of the 6 of them. The more origin energy they consumed, the more damage they would do to their eye bloodlines. If they used up all their origin energy in one go, they would deal a destructive blow to their eye bloodlines, and there was even a chance that they would lose their eye bloodlines. The silent replies of ancient god profound devil's group of 6 made both sides even more certain of this point. For the sake of their own lives, all of them worked together and madly attacked. However, some people also began to notice the little thieving cat. After all, it was the little thieving cat that gave them the opportunity to attack ancient god profound devil's group of 6. Swish! The little thieving cat was like a dark silver streak of light as it flew through the central hall. Behind it, 3 streaks of light seemed to follow the little thieving cat as if they had a tracking system. Boom! Bang! Every time the 3 beams of light missed, they would strike the surrounding buildings of the palace, leaving behind a sharp gash. One had to realize that even a rank 7 ancient god would find it rather difficult to damage these buildings. That cat's so formidable! It still hasn't been caught. These 3 ribbons of light are even faster than the chain attacks. Back then, ancient god giant spirit was almost struck, but this little thieving cat can rely on itself to contend with these 3 ribbons of light. As they attacked, they couldn't help but observe the little thieving cat's situation. Those who knew that the little thieving cat was Zhao Feng's pet were all the more envious. How wonderful would it be if they could use such a powerful pet? Meow! As if it had heard everyone's praise, the little thieving cat gave them a smug grin as it fled. It seemed to be quite pleased with itself. Everyone was instantly amused by the little thieving cat's actions. But a moment later, their faces suddenly grimaced as if they had been struck by lightning, and their bodies went stiff. The little thieving cat's movements had slowed down a little. The 3 belts of light suddenly sped up and wrapped around the little thieving cat. Meow! The little thieving cat struggled for its life in the belts of light. But it couldn't escape. However, the 3 belts of light only seemed to be restraining the little thieving cat, not harming it. Not good! That cat! All of them couldn't help but feel regret. They shouldn't have affected the little thieving cat. That thieving cat? Only Zhao Feng revealed a look of confusion after his initial shock. In his view, the little thieving cat would never make this sort of mistake. It seemed more like it was intentionally getting caught. The Heaven's Legacy Cat! We've finally caught it! Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 were extremely excited. Swish! They controlled the belts of light to pull the little thieving cat over. Meow! The little thieving cat meowed pitifully and suddenly opened its mouth. At the same time, Zhao Feng began to rush over. It's no use! Ancient God Profound Devil faintly chuckled, but his eyes were fixed on Zhao Feng. Besides the research results and data, and the Heaven's Legacy Cat, Zhao Feng was also one of the more important targets. After all, he wasn't a descendant of one of the 8 great god eyes, but he had a quasi-god eye. This was far too strange. Moreover, the abilities of Zhao Feng's eyes were no weaker than those of a descendant of one of the 8 great god eyes. At this moment, as long as Zhao Feng went to save the little thieving cat, he would immediately take control of one of the belts of light and bind Zhao Feng as well. However, once Zhao Feng got a certain distance from the little thieving cat, he stopped. At this moment, several objects flew out of the little thieving cat's mouth. There was a test tube as thick as an arm that contained an unknown ancient bloodline. There was also an extremely small test tube that seemed to contain a special medicine. There were also a few other objects that had been gathered from the core area. These are all treasures that we can't get from the core area. Heavens! This thieving cat, when did it steal all of this? The God-Eye descendants and Blazing Gold race were all stunned. They all understood that these precious objects were almost always protected. If an outsider touched them, a trap would be activated. But the little thieving cat had managed to steal all of these things without anyone noticing. Just how had it done this? At this moment, even ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 was infuriated. These were all important resources of the core area. That's... Lin Qingwu's eyes flashed as he focused on one of the objects. This was a translucent crystal, and within it was a pair of eyes that were close to the quasi-god eye level. The other god eye descendants were immediately attracted by this object. But it was already too late for them to take it. The moment the little thieving cat spat out these objects, Zhao Feng put them all into his interspatial dimension. After doing all this, the little thieving cat was dragged to the side of ancient god Profound Devil's group. The three belts of light immediately transformed into a layer of liquid that covered the little thieving cat's body and completely imprisoned it. The Heaven's Legacy cat has been captured. Ancient god Profound Devil growled as he put the little thieving cat into his special interspatial dimension. There's still quite a bit of energy left. It should be enough to finish off all of you. A sinister and savage smile appeared on ancient god Black Extreme's cold and sinister face. The God Eye descendants and Blazing Gold race members once more felt a threat of death, and their bodies couldn't help but tremble. Chapter 13:12. There's still quite a bit of energy left. It's enough to finish off all of you. A sinister and savage smile appeared on ancient god Black Extreme's cold and sinister face. At this point, the rank 8 ancient god giant spirit had been killed and the mysterious and powerful little thieving cat had been captured. And from his tone, it was clear that he would not let any of them go. Little thieving cat! Zhao Feng's expression darkened. Before the little thieving cat was completely imprisoned by ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6, he had received a message from the little thieving cat telling him not to worry. But at this moment, Zhao Feng had to worry about how he was going to escape. Capture the God Eye descendants. Kill the rest! Ancient god Profound Devil called out. The 6 of them began to form spells to control the indistinct energy above their heads. Buzz! Bzzz! 3 belts of light and 3 chains extended from the 2 sides of the energy. Capture the God Eye descendants? The God Eye descendants all grimaced. At this moment, they finally realized that ancient god Profound Devil's group had brought them to these ruins to capture them alive. As for what their ultimate goal was, they had no idea, but it was certainly nothing good. Kill without mercy! The Blazing Gold race members trembled, their eyes brimming with fear. Swish, swish, swish. The 3 chains and 3 belts of light extended from the indistinct energy toward the Blazing Gold race members and the God Eye descendants. Run! A man targeted by one of the chains of the Blazing Gold race cried out in alarm and began to flee. No! Hurry and think of something! Lin Qingwu bellowed as he blinked away to avoid one of the belts of light. If they just dodged, they would definitely be annihilated by ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6. But no one present could do what ancient god Giant Spirit or the little thieving cat could do and stall for time with ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6. Thish! A belt of indistinct light swept toward Zhao Feng from an extremely tricky angle. Zhao Feng sensed it and used spatial blink to dodge. But by the time he appeared at the next location, the belt of light had already reached him. Zhao Feng, obediently surrender and come with us along with your pet. Ancient god Black Extreme savagely laughed. It turned out that the one controlling the belt of light to capture Zhao Feng was ancient god Black Extreme. I didn't hand you over to the Blazing Gold race just now because you are one of our main targets. We can't let you die so easily. Ancient god Black Extreme added. Why do you want to capture me? I am not a God Eye descendant. Zhao Feng asked. Zhao Feng could think of a few reasons why they wanted to capture a God Eye descendant, but why they wanted to capture him. You're not a God Eye descendant, but you managed to cultivate your eye to the quasi-God Eye level, and you're also the master of the Heaven's Legacy cat. Your value is no less than that of a God Eye descendant. Ancient god Black Extreme seemed determined to win, and did not mind divulging this information. What? Quasi-God Eye. The other God Eye descendants were all stunned. This is impossible! Lin Qingwu and the beautiful young woman shook their heads, disbelief written all over their faces. Zhao Feng was far too young, and he wasn't even a descendant of one of the 8 great God Eyes, so how did he manage to cultivate an ordinary eye bloodline to the quasi-God Eye level? In addition, they had been in the same team as Zhao Feng, but they hadn't sensed the level of Zhao Feng's eye bloodline at all. An eye at the quasi-God Eye level? Zhao Feng's expression froze for a moment. At this moment, he suddenly remembered that in the continent zone, when Sacred King Samsara's group of 5 used the God Eye fusion art, the sudden involvement of his God's spiritual eye had caused a major change. Perhaps at this moment, his God's spiritual eye could do something. Swish! The seal around the dreamy silver ball in Zhao Feng's God Eye dimension was torn apart. At the same time, Zhao Feng's eye suddenly brightened, flowing with light. His hair regained its dreamy silver luster and began to dance in the air like water. He sealed the power of his eye. Lin Chengwu was stunned. Previously, Zhao Feng's eye bloodline abilities were on par with his, so he had never imagined that Zhao Feng had sealed away a portion of his eye bloodline's abilities. Is it really a quasi-god eye? The other god eye descendants focused on Zhao Feng's left eye, as did ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6. Perhaps they had seen someone who had reached the quasi-god eye level before, but they had never seen an eye bloodline that had reached the quasi-god eye level. At this moment, on the other side, in a moment of carelessness, a god eye descendant was entangled by a band of light. The indistinct band of light transformed into a layer of liquid that covered the god eye descendant's entire body. The god eye descendant was instantly immobilized as he was dragged back. Damn! The azure-robed elder cursed. The moment they relaxed, they would be entangled by the mysterious band of light, unable to escape. Compared to the god eye descendants, the blazing gold race had already lost 2 members. Zhao Feng, just give up. At a time like this, even if you use the true power of your eye, what use will it be? Ancient God Black Extreme jeered. Although he was speaking, Ancient God Black Extreme never relaxed. He continued to control the band of light in an attempt to restrain Zhao Feng. However, Zhao Feng's movement technique was extremely brilliant. The band of light he was controlling was not enough to catch up to Zhao Feng. Perhaps it will work, Zhao Feng muttered. He was just trying. Even if it didn't work, he wouldn't lose anything. Humph, ignorant! Ancient God Black Extreme coldly laughed. In all their years of cultivation, the God Eye fusion art they used together had never been defeated by any power, unless it was an expert far stronger than them. Lend me your strength, Ancient God Black Extreme said to one of his Eye of Space-Time companions. Ancient God Black Extreme immediately sensed a profound space-time intent surging out from the band of light he was controlling. Haha, let's see where you can run this time. Ancient God Black Extreme's eyes focused. The band of light sped up and fused into the void, piercing through it and arriving in front of Zhao Feng. That brat Zhao Feng is finished, the yellow-clothed youth from the life-sacred land whispered. The enemy was only using 3 bands of light to capture the God Eye descendants, and he was the one they had temporarily neglected. The band of light was just about to wrap around Zhao Feng's body. At this moment, Zhao Feng's left eye finished preparing an eye bloodline technique. Origin Eye Flame! Zhao Feng's left eye locked onto the band of light, and a dreamy purple flame began to revolve around it. Haha, how foolish! Your strength is useless! Ancient God Black Extreme found Zhao Feng's actions to be laughable and foolish. But a moment later he froze, his face frozen. Crack! A dreamy purple lightning flame exploded on the band of light in front of Zhao Feng. In a flash, the band of light twisted and swelled, ultimately transforming into several powerful intent energies that dissipated into the world. It really was useful. Zhao Feng's eyes brightened. He knew that ordinary attacks would have no effect on that mysterious power. Thus, after undoing the seal, Zhao Feng used a portion of his origin energy and fused it into his eye bloodline technique. Back in the continent zone, when the origin energy of his god's spiritual eye appeared, it instantly suppressed the origin energy of the other god eye descendants and became the leader of that powerful energy. This time, the eye bloodline technique fused with the origin energy of the god's spiritual eye was clearly effective against this mysterious energy. How could this be? Ancient God Black Extreme blurted out in shock. How could the energy they created through the God Eye fusion art be destroyed? The energy of a God Eye. Ancient God Profound Devil and the others were also flabbergasted. This was truly the first time they had seen something like this. Moreover, The energy Zhao Feng displayed just now had the same energy as the indistinct energy above their heads. On the other side, the God-Eye descendants and Blazing Gold race members were elated to see that Zhao Feng's attack was effective against that indistinct energy. They believed that their hopes had been dashed, but at this crucial moment, a glimmer of hope appeared. Zhao Feng, your eye bloodline is actually effective against their secret art. Zhao Feng, hurry and help us! Many people immediately began to plead for help from Zhao Feng. At this moment, Zhao Feng was their last hope for survival. Crack! Zhao Feng slightly leaned to the side and unleashed an eye bloodline technique. Nearby, the beautiful woman who had almost been wrapped up in the band of light used this chance to escape. In truth, Zhao Feng wasn't even willing to save these people. After all, there was no benefit in doing so, and they might even leak out his secrets. For example, the matter of the Heaven's Legacy Cat, the precious treasure the little thieving cat had given to Zhao Feng before it was captured, and the secret of Zhao Feng's God's spiritual eye. But getting out alive was the most important thing, so Zhao Feng decided to save these people to increase the fighting power of his side. Thank you. The beautiful woman immediately approached Zhao Feng to ensure her safety. This time, everyone saw with their own eyes that Zhao Feng had destroyed that indistinct energy. God-Eye energy! The God-Eye descendants were all stunned and their expressions darkened. In the great danger they were in and the situation was chaotic, they hadn't noticed this. But this time, everyone was staring at Zhao Feng, so they could clearly sense the God-Eye energy exuded by Zhao Feng's eye bloodline technique. But no matter how dissatisfied they were with Zhao Feng or how much they coveted the treasures in Zhao Feng's hands or how curious they were about Zhao Feng's eye bloodline, but now, they needed to rely on Zhao Feng's strength to survive. Gradually, the others began to gather around Zhao Feng. But now, the God-Eye descendants only had 5 people left while the Blazing Gold race still had 4. Change the plan. Capture Zhao Feng first. Ancient God Profound Devil's face was ashen as he stared at Zhao Feng, his eyes cold and harsh. The others immediately nodded. They had never expected such an unforeseen event to occur in this mission. But even so, they would not fail, nor would they allow themselves to fail. The 2 indistinct bands of light that Zhao Feng had destroyed began to regrow. Moreover, these 3 bands of light began to rapidly attack Zhao Feng from 3 different directions. Chapter 13:13. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 had given up on capturing the other God-Eye descendants and focused on capturing Zhao Feng. 3 belts of light swept toward Zhao Feng from 3 different directions. Not good! They're planning to capture Zhao Feng first. The others instantly panicked at this sight. Zhao Feng was their only hope of survival. Once Zhao Feng was captured, they would once more be pushed back into desperate straits. Up until now, the only one capable of dodging the pursuit of 3 belts of light was the extremely mysterious thieving cat that ancient God Profound Devil had called the Heaven's Legacy Cat. Not even Lin Chenwu, who was skilled in space-time intent, dared to face those 3 belts of light. Thus, none of them could imagine how Zhao Feng could escape the pursuit of those 3 belts of light. We have to protect him! Ancient God Departed Spirits squeezed out these words. Although they were extremely unwilling, they had to do this. That's right! The rest of them nodded in agreement. Zhao Feng was their only hope in dealing with Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. I didn't think it would turn out like this. Ancient God Gilded Gold had a complicated expression. The strongest member of the Blazing Gold race had been killed, and many of the other members had also been slaughtered. If they wanted to leave this place alive, they could only rely on the spiritual race's Zhao Feng. But while Ancient God Profound Devil's group was trying to capture Zhao Feng, clink-clang, 3 illusory chains shot toward the crowd. Oh no! The remaining 4 members of the Blazing Gold race grimaced. But at this moment, they no longer had any hopes that Zhao Feng would save them. They could only rely on themselves. The God-Eye descendants also ignored the Blazing Gold race. Death Light Wave! Destruction Light! Extreme Space Blade! All of them fiercely attacked the three belts of light that were wrapping around Zhao Feng. As long as they could delay them for a few moments, they could create a chance for Zhao Feng to escape. Swish! A spatial blur appeared around Zhao Feng, and then he blinked away. With the help of these people, I can directly attack Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. Zhao Feng turned his gaze to Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. Buzz! His left eye surged with eye intent and flashed with a dreamy ball of light. At this moment, Zhao Feng was like a huge star, emitting a terrifying aura. Earth-shaking explosion! Zhao Feng growled as a chaotic ball of dreamy light shot out of his left eye. Xiao! The moment the ball of light appeared, it flickered and disappeared. A moment later, it descended upon the defensive barrier in front of Ancient God Profound Devil's group. What a powerful eye technique! Ancient God Black Extreme's expression darkened. Normally, he wouldn't have been so worried, because no attack, no matter how powerful, would be able to overcome the power produced by the God Eye fusion. But Zhao Feng was different. His attacks could neutralize the energy of Ancient God Profound Devil's group. And if such a powerful attack was effective, its power would be extraordinary. But at this moment, the 6 of them were controlling the belts of light and chains to capture Zhao Feng and kill the others. They could no longer afford to do anything else. Boom! Bang! Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 suddenly felt a blinding light, so dazzling that they couldn't open their eyes. At the same time, a shockwave that pierced through both the physical and the soul slammed into their bodies. It actually broke through the defensive barrier. Ancient God Profound Devil's expression was extremely gloomy. Just what sort of energy is this? It can actually counter the combined origin energy of the 6 of us. His companion on the other side was still somewhat unwilling to believe what was happening. The slim woman with the Eye of Destiny hid behind them, her eyes closed. She had once used the Eye of Destiny on Zhao Feng, but not only did she not see anything, she even suffered a powerful backlash. She did not dare to use it again. In addition, even if the situation developed like this, they would not lose. Okay. The God Eye descendants with Zhao Feng were all stunned and excited. They had worked together twice before, but none of them had been able to harm Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. But now, Zhao Feng had broken through their defenses and even wounded them. Swish! Swish! Zhao Feng's body flickered away, and with the help of the many God Eye descendants, he safely escaped the pursuit of the 3 belts of light. But at this moment, an explosion came from the other side. Rumble! Ancient God Gilded Gold's chest was pierced by a chain, and then his blazing body exploded. Zhao Feng, all of you will die here! Ancient God Gilded Gold's soul could not escape, and as it continued to wither away in pain, it cursed Zhao Feng and the others. As it turned out, the God Eye descendants were only helping Zhao Feng. The remaining 4 members of the Blazing Gold race were pursued by the chains and killed one by one. At this moment, all the members of the Blazing Gold race were dead. Zhao Feng, you've lost! Ancient God Black Extreme stared at Zhao Feng and sneered. Buzz! Bzzz. The 3 chains next to the groups slowly transformed into 3 belts of light. Everyone that needed to be killed had been killed, so all they needed to do now was carry out the capture plan. Not good! We're in danger! Damn! Why didn't these Blazing Gold race trash last a little longer? The other God Eye descendants immediately cursed. Now that the Blazing Gold race was all dead, Ancient God Profound Devil's group would be able to focus on dealing with them. Some of them had to be handed over, but he could keep the space-time robe for himself. The other 5 immediately nodded and began to control the belts of light to surround Zhao Feng. Boom! Bang! Crash! Zhao Feng's figure could be seen everywhere in the central hall, as well as the furious trails of the belts of light. The central hall of this core area had long ago been destroyed beyond recognition. If not for the space-time robe, I would have already been captured. Zhao Feng muttered to himself in alarm. But even with the space-time robe, he still had to be extremely careful. The slightest carelessness would allow his opponent to find an opening. As he fled, Zhao Feng didn't even have a chance to use an eye bloodline technique. "All of you, hurry and attack!" Zhao Feng simply messaged the other God Eye descendants. At this moment, the only ones left were ancient god departed spirit, Lin Qingwu, the beautiful girl, and the azure-robed elder. Okay. The others reacted and nodded their heads. "This is an excellent chance! Kill them!" Ancient god departed spirit's eyes seethed with killing intent. Ancient god profound devil's group of 6 was focused on dealing with Zhao Feng, and they didn't have the protection of the barrier. The 6 of them probably didn't have much strength left. Whoosh! Whoosh! The 4 God Eye descendants charged at ancient god profound devil's group. Their eyes rippled with eye intent as they prepared to unleash their strongest attacks on ancient god profound devil's group. Ignorant! Ancient god profound devil's expression darkened as he glanced at the 4 and disdainfully said, "We won't lose!" The others coldly muttered. All of them had absolute confidence in themselves. "Still pretending in the face of death!" Ancient god departed spirit coldly snorted. Although ancient god profound devil still had 6 people, using secret arts consumed too much energy. Once they stopped, they would have little fighting power. But a moment later, a weak spatial ripple appeared next to ancient god profound devil's group of 6. Then, 6 ice-cold black figures suddenly appeared. Their eyes were suffused with red light, their bodies were covered in black steel armor, and their massive black swords exuded an astonishing pressure. "These are Heaven's legacy puppets!" Ancient god departed spirit called out in alarm. "How could this be? They still had this kind of trump card." Lin Qingwu's expression changed abruptly, becoming incomparably terrified. Ancient god profound devil's group of 6 each had a Heaven's legacy race automaton, and the majority of these automatons exuded the pressure of a rank 7 ancient god. However, the 2 automatons of ancient god profound devil and ancient god black extreme exuded the powerful energy of a rank 8 ancient god. Just looking at these 2 automatons was enough to suffocate all of them. "Are we doomed to die here?" The beautiful girl was extremely unwilling. Even if she was a samsara immortal body, she would be useless in ancient god profound devil's hands. "Kill them!" Ancient god profound devil coldly snorted as he gave the order. Clang! The 6 automatons all moved, the clanging and clanging of metal resounding in everyone's minds like the bell of death. Chapter 13-14. Ancient god profound devil's group of 6 took out their 6 automatons. The rest of the people present instantly despaired. Other than Zhao Feng, there were only 4 God Eye descendants left, and they weren't in their best condition, so how could they deal with 6 automatons? Moreover, 2 of these automatons had reached the rank 8 ancient god level. "Are we destined to fall here?" The beautiful young woman was not willing to die like this. Even if she was a samsara immortal body, she would be useless in ancient god profound devil's hands. "Damn it, there's no other way!" The other 3 also stood rooted to the ground, their legs trembling. They had already arrived at the edge of death. "These people are not ordinary!" Zhao Feng's eyes darkened. He knew about the ruins of the Heaven's legacy race, could use the God Eye fusion art, could control the machines in the ruins, and even had powerful automatons. The background of these people was definitely not simple. Clang! Bang! Down below, ancient god departed spirits group of 4 was being attacked by the 6 Heaven's legacy puppets. Although they were already in a hopeless situation, they still fought with all their might to survive. "Zhao Feng, just give up. Do you think you still have a chance to escape?" Ancient god Black Extreme wickedly laughed. His companions were also very puzzled. They had already used their final trump cards, but Zhao Feng still didn't give up. Zhao Feng could not leave the central hall, not even with a life-saving divine artifact like the space-time robe. Once those 6 automatons finished off the rest of the God Eye descendants, they would be able to kill the rest of the God Eye descendants. Even with the abilities of the space-time robe, Zhao Feng could not keep running. Boom! At this moment, a rank 8 ancient god puppet cut the azure-robed elder's body in two, obliterating even his soul. The peak rank 7 Eye of Destruction descendant fell just like that. Looks like I can only borrow the strength of the blood-flame Qilin race. Zhao Feng's face darkened. If it weren't for the fact that they were in dire straits with no way out, Zhao Feng wouldn't have wanted to borrow the power of the blood-flame Qilin race. However, the space here isn't stable, so I can only rely on the power of the rank 8 ancient races. Zhao Feng couldn't help but ponder. At that moment, the beautiful woman and Lin Qingwu were also killed by the mechanical puppets. In the end, ancient god departed spirit was surrounded by all the automatons. Seeing that there was no chance of survival, ancient god departed spirit decided to self-detonate. Given the power of his Eye of Death, if he detonated it, he would definitely inflict severe damage to ancient god Profound Devil's group. He's going to self-destruct. Zhao Feng's expression changed slightly. Perhaps ancient god departed spirit's self-detonation would create a chance for him. Naive! Ancient god Profound Devil grunted. At this moment, the 6 automatons surrounded ancient god departed spirit. They stretched out their palms, and a layer of gray light mist immediately spread out. Buzz! The gray mist connected to each other, forming a single domain that surrounded ancient god departed spirit and continued to shrink. Boom! Within the gloomy domain, ancient god departed spirit brazenly self-detonated. The dark enchantment surrounding him was destroyed, but the remaining power was extremely weak and did not have much effect on the central palace hall. So many tricks. Zhao Feng couldn't help but sigh. At this point, everyone who had come to explore these ruins had been eliminated by ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6. If news of this accomplishment were to get out, it would definitely shock the world. Zhao Feng, you won't be able to escape even if you grow wings now. Ancient god Profound Devil's gaze fell on Zhao Feng, and he gave a smug smile. The others also gave confident smiles of victory. Is that so? What if I manage to escape? Zhao Feng also smiled. Ignorant. Ancient god Profound Devil grimaced. Whoosh! 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 In a flash, the 6 cold automatons charged at Zhao Feng. Let's see how you escape. Ancient god Profound Devil savagely roared. In such a narrow space, with 6 belts of light and 6 automatons, how could Zhao Feng possibly escape? But suddenly, a terrifying aura that suppressed the entire battlefield appeared next to Zhao Feng. Bang! Blood-colored flames exploded around Zhao Feng. Although the 6 belts of light were not destroyed, they were greatly hindered. Other than the 2 rank 8 automatons, all the other automatons were sent flying and smashed into the ground. This energy. Ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6 all grimaced. This energy that had suddenly appeared not only possessed a powerful ancient bloodline, but also the energy of a peak rank 8 ancient god. As the flames faded, a massive blood-colored Qilin appeared next to Zhao Feng. Blood Flame Qilin race. Everyone murmured in shock. How could there be a peak rank 8 ancient god here? Zhao Feng, you signed a contract with me. You can't tell anyone else about this. Ancient god Black Extreme immediately barked. The appearance of a peak rank 8 ancient god here had to be related to Zhao Feng. But back then, he had clearly signed a contract with Zhao Feng that prevented him from speaking of this matter. Since that was the case, why was this peak rank 8 ancient god willing to follow him? Your Excellency, what are your orders? While everyone was confused, the peak rank 8 ancient god got down on one knee in the air and respectfully spoke. Master. Ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6 were both shocked and confused. A mighty peak rank 8 ancient god was actually referring to Zhao Feng as his master? But if this really was the case, then this peak rank 8 ancient god was basically Zhao Feng's servant. Zhao Feng could order him to do anything without needing to explain why. For this peak rank 8 ancient god to appear here meant that he knew nothing. Take me out of here! Zhao Feng flatly said. Yes. The blood flame Qilin respectfully replied. After saying this, it gathered a ball of scorching flame energy in its mouth. If he could help the Lord God, he had to do his best and do his best. Oh no! Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 was taken aback. The energy produced by their God Eye fusion art was already running low. The barrier around the central hall was extremely weak, and Zhao Feng could easily break through it. With the help of a peak rank 8 ancient god, the two of them would definitely be able to get through the layers of seals around the core area. Once Zhao Feng left, the space-time robe would make it far too difficult to capture him. Ancient God Profound Devil's group immediately took control of the 6 automatons and attacked the Blood Flame Qilin. Their God Eye fusion art was running low, and if they used it to deal with the Blood Flame Qilin, they would find it very difficult to capture Zhao Feng, so they did not use it. Chaos Origin Divine Palm! Zhao Feng circulated his Chaos Origin Divine Power and unleashed a massive palm of chaotic light that held forward in an attempt to stop the automatons from interfering. At the same time, Zhao Feng aimed at the screen and unleashed an Origin Eye Bloodline technique. Boom! Bang! The barrier of nothingness that enveloped this place was directly blasted apart. However, Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 had not only used the barrier to isolate the core area, but they had also sealed off all the entrances to the core area. Although the barrier was broken, it was still extremely difficult for them to get out. Bang! The Blood Flame Qilin unleashed its fiercest attack on a certain part of the wall. The entire central hall trembled. On the other side, the automatons had shattered Zhao Feng's attack and were now charging at the Blood Flame Qilin. Space-time barrier! Zhao Feng immediately used space-time intent to activate the space-time robe's ability. Hisses! A faint white layer of indistinct energy appeared between the automatons and Zhao Feng. When the automatons tried to approach, they were not only hindered by the space energy, but also by the time energy. Their movements and thoughts began to slow down. This kid's mastery of space-time intent is incredible. He was actually able to use the space-time robe's ability. Ancient God Black Extreme said in shock. The space-time barrier was an upgraded version of the space barrier. It had an extremely powerful defensive ability. Let me! A thin and withered Eye of Space-Time descendant suddenly stepped forward. His Eye of Space-Time immediately began to turn, and space-time intent engulfed the automatons. In a flash, the effect of the space-time barrier on the automatons weakened. Boom! Swoosh! The 6 automatons swung their massive swords and unleashed powerful attacks. Gradually, the space-time barrier created by the space-time robe began to weaken. The automatons were also getting much closer to Zhao Feng and the Blood Flame Qilin. But at this moment, bang! The peak rank 8 Blood Flame Qilin blasted a small hole in the sealed dimension of the central hall. As expected of the Blood Flame Qilin race, which specialized in combat, their attacks were extremely powerful. Let's go! Circulating his space intent, Zhao Feng and the Blood Flame Qilin passed through the small hole and left the central hall. Not good! He got away! Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 was taken aback. What do we do? For a moment, none of them moved. They were in an extremely poor condition, and their fighting power was extremely low. They could not risk themselves. Moreover, Zhao Feng had a peak rank 8 servant. If they wanted to deal with Zhao Feng's group, just 2 rank 8 automatons would not be enough. In addition, Zhao Feng was skilled in space-time intent and had the space-time robe. If they sent a large number of automatons, they would have to worry that Zhao Feng would suddenly return. For a moment, they were caught in a dilemma. Since that's the case, let's kill him! Ancient God Profound Devil's expression was extremely gloomy. He was furious that the mission had ended up like this. Our mission doesn't include Zhao Feng, but once the information on us gets out, we're done for. Ancient God Black Extreme was extremely supportive of Ancient God Profound Devil's suggestion. If they captured Zhao Feng, they would be richly rewarded, but if the information got out, they would die without a grave. Fine. Let's destroy this place. The others immediately stepped forward. They then went to the octagonal installation in the center. After a while, the 6 of them finally produced a transparent white screen of light. Activate the self-destruct sequence! Ancient God Profound Devil called out. The entire screen of light turned a faint red. In 100 seconds, this place will self-destruct. The 3 of you will be responsible for laying down the teleportation array. The 3 of us will be responsible for gathering the remaining research results and information. Ancient God Profound Devil immediately ordered. The 6 of them began to move out. At the end of this mission, they were supposed to destroy these ruins. Now, they could use this power to kill Xiao Feng. They didn't believe that Xiao Feng could escape from this destroyed dimension. Not even the space-time robe could do it. On the other side, Xiao Feng, who had escaped from the central hall, used the see-through ability of his left eye to observe the situation of Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. Eh? They all left? Xiao Feng was rather confused. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 were able to control the mechanisms and machines of this place, and not pursue him. What's that? Xiao Feng's eyes focused on the faint red screen of light on the octagonal installation. He didn't remember anything like this happening before. The words on the red screen were written in the language of the Heaven's Legacy race. Xiao Feng didn't recognize them. But for some reason, he had a bad feeling. Chapter 13-15. When Xiao Feng's group was being pursued, they had gone through almost every part of the core area, so they had a rather good understanding of the terrain. After escaping from the central hall, Xiao Feng decided on the shortest route and began to destroy it with the blood flame Qilin in an attempt to escape. They went to another place in the core area to take something. Xiao Feng's god's spiritual eye could see through a certain distance and observe the situation. However, those 6 had split up into teams of 3. Even if Xiao Feng counterattacked, he might not succeed. Thus, it was best to escape first. After all, this was the ruins of the Heaven's Legacy race, and they were completely unaffected by this place, treating it like it was their own backyard. As for the little thieving cat, from the importance these people placed on it, he could tell that they would not lightly harm it. In addition, Xiao Feng also understood why the little thieving cat had intentionally allowed itself to be captured. He and the little thieving cat had a contractual connection. Even if they were separated by an entire zone, they could still maintain a weak connection. Once the little thieving cat was sent back to its base, Xiao Feng would know the stronghold of the faction behind these God-Eye descendants. In addition, this faction knew of the Heaven's Legacy cat's secret, so it probably had something the little thieving cat needed. Otherwise, it wouldn't have intentionally allowed itself to be captured. Moreover, the faction behind these people seemed to be conducting research on God-Eyes. Perhaps it had something that Xiao Feng needed. It was precisely for this reason that Xiao Feng did not use too much of the blood flame Qilin race's power. Otherwise, those 6 God-Eye descendants would have been no match for him. Although this was all very dangerous, the little thieving cat had the ability to divine fortune, so it was still somewhat confident. Boom! Bang! At this moment, Xiao Feng and the blood flame Qilin blasted open another small gap, and the 2 of them swiftly passed through. Your Excellency, this place seems to be the ruins of the Heaven's Legacy race. The blood flame Qilin couldn't suppress his curiosity, and asked. Escaping is more important. Xiao Feng did not explain too much. On the other end, Ancient God Black Extreme's team was able to swiftly retrieve some important research results and data. Damn! The Heaven's Legacy cat even threw a lot of research results to Xiao Feng. Ancient God Profound Devil was rather annoyed. So what if it's in his hands? Once the space shatters, he'll definitely die. The other person snorted coldly. Even so, it was indeed a pity to waste so many precious research results. There's not enough time. Let's go back, the thin woman said immediately. The self-destruction program only had 100 breaths of time, and now there were only 20 breaths of time left. In order to avoid any accidents, it was better for them to hurry over. In a small metal room, Ancient God Black Extreme's group of 3 had been waiting for some time. The teleportation portal here has been completely preserved. We just adjusted the teleportation location appropriately. Now we can use it without worry. Ancient God Black Extreme smiled. And the group of 6 stepped onto the teleportation platform. Let's go. Let that kid be buried with this place. Ancient God Black Extreme's cold and sinister face gave a sinister smile. The biggest stain on their mission this time was Zhao Feng. If it weren't for Zhao Feng, their mission would have been completed much more smoothly. And in the end, they still could not kill Zhao Feng. They could only use the Fecta City's self-destruct sequence. That brat really got off easy, the thin eye of space-time descendant disdainfully said. Although he made quite a bit of trouble for us, he still gave us a Heaven's Legacy cat. Ancient God Profound Devil coldly said. Right, that cat should have a pet contract with that brat. What do you care about that for? If that brat dies, the contract will automatically disappear. The formation platform was activated, and silver runes were drawn out one after another. An ancient silver-white luster rose up and engulfed Ancient God Profound Devil's group. On the other side, although Zhao Feng was looking for a way out, he was still observing Ancient God Profound Devil's movements. A teleportation array. They're leaving? Zhao Feng was surprised. They're letting me go just like that. Zhao Feng couldn't help but smile. It seemed like these people couldn't do anything to him, so they didn't waste any time and left. But Zhao Feng still felt that something was wrong and began to think. Wait, I know so many of their secrets. How could they let me go so easily? Zhao Feng grimaced and began to panic. At this moment, Zhao Feng once more turned to the octagonal installation in the central hall. The faint red screen above the installation was constantly blinking. Although Zhao Feng couldn't understand the words on it, he could see a red band of light extending from the left to the right, about to reach the end. The energy around the core area seems to be flowing in. Upon careful observation, Zhao Feng realized that the energy within the octagonal installation was abnormally vast, and the ripples were extremely fierce. Not good! They want to destroy this place! Zhao Feng grimaced as he called out in alarm. From the perspective of Ancient God Profound Devil's group, if all the important things in these ruins had been dug out, what was the point of leaving these ruins behind? This would only leave behind some clues that would allow other factions to investigate Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. Moreover, since Zhao Feng knew so many of their secrets, they had no reason to let Zhao Feng go. Combining the two, Zhao Feng thought of a possibility. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 wanted to completely destroy this dimension, while also killing Zhao Feng. The octagonal installation in the central hall was the highest level machine in the core area. Not even Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 could completely control it. Thus, this octagonal installation was definitely the core of the ruins, able to connect to the entire dimension of the ruins. Just a moment ago, the octagonal installation had displayed a strange phenomenon. Not good! This place is about to be completely destroyed, Zhao Feng hurriedly said to the blood-flamed Qilin. Is there any way to quickly escape this dimension? Zhao Feng hastily asked. This was a critical moment of life and death. Escape from this dimension? The blood-flamed Qilin's eyes froze. It was already rather difficult for them to leave the core area, so how could they immediately escape this dimension? Zhao Feng knew that the blood-flamed Qilin couldn't do it, so he sent it back into the ancient dream realm. Since that's the case, I can only go all out. A look of determination appeared on Zhao Feng's face. Swish! Zhao Feng's body suddenly vanished from the spot. But a moment later, a fierce spatial ripple appeared. Zhao Feng and the blood-flamed Qilin race patriarch appeared in this place. Tiny spatial cracks immediately appeared around the blood-flamed Qilin race patriarch. With Zhao Feng's cultivation, if he carelessly approached a spatial crack, he would be torn to pieces. However, he had the supreme quality defensive divine artifact, the space-time robe, which was extremely effective against spatial cracks. Your Excellency, this place is... The blood-flamed Qilin race patriarch was confused. Zhao Feng had said nothing before dragging him here. For a moment, the blood-flame Qilin race patriarch was confused. But a moment later, the blood-flame Qilin race patriarch sensed that this dimension was about to shatter. "Your Excellency, this dimension is too low level. It can't hold me," the blood-flame Qilin race patriarch immediately said. "Think of every method, no matter the price, to get me out of this dimension," Zhao Feng hastily said. At this moment, the red light on the octagonal installation was about to reach its end. The blood-flame Qilin race patriarch finally realized the gravity of the situation. If the Lord God wasn't in a life-threatening danger that he couldn't resolve, he would never have been called here. "Okay." The blood-flame Qilin race patriarch's eyes were dignified, and his body began to pulse with energy. As the blood-flame Qilin race patriarch exerted his strength, the surrounding space began to twist. Countless spatial cracks of various sizes began to appear, and destructive spatial storms began to blow through them. Swoosh! Swoosh! Several dozen wounds of various sizes instantly appeared on the blood-flame Qilin race patriarch's body. Although he had powerful vitality, his recovery speed couldn't keep up with the rate at which his wounds were increasing. At the same time, Zhao Feng followed the blood-flame Qilin race patriarch's orders and activated the space-time robe's space-time barrier. Spatial barrier was extremely effective against space energy, and space-time barrier was its upgraded version, so it was naturally even more effective in this aspect. Under the protection of the space-time barrier, the blood-flame Qilin race patriarch's injuries were temporarily stabilized. Meanwhile, Zhao Feng had both the space-time robe and space-time barrier to protect him, making him even safer. At this moment, the red band of light on the octagonal installation finally reached its end. The entire core area, as well as the surrounding areas, began to tremble with destructive energy. In a flash, Zhao Feng felt an incomparable pressure as the threat of death descended upon him. "As expected, it's going to destroy this dimension." Zhao Feng's mind trembled, and even his god's spiritual eye began to thump. But he was too weak, and there was nothing he could do. At this moment, strange characters of flame began to circulate around the blood-flame Qilin race patriarch, accompanied by powerful intent energy that began to fiercely ripple. In a flash, the surrounding space completely shattered. At the same time, those strange characters of flame revolved around the blood-flame Qilin race patriarch and Zhao Feng. Bang! The two of them turned into a mass of blood-colored flames and exploded into nothingness. In the Xiling Zone, a vast and desolate forest suddenly began to twist and distort. Kaboom! Suddenly, enormous spatial cracks tore open, and a terrifying storm of destructive energy poured out of them. The surrounding area for more than 100,000 li instantly became a forbidden zone. This destructive spatial storm, mixed with enormous shockwaves of energy, wreaked havoc. At the edge of this forbidden zone, two figures suddenly appeared. So close! Zhao Feng's racing heart finally calmed down. The space-time robe on his body flickered with weak light. It was clear that it had sustained some damage while protecting Zhao Feng. And it was thanks to it that Zhao Feng had managed to survive. However, the spatial storm had still somewhat affected Zhao Feng. And the blood-flame Qilin race patriarch's powerful secret art had also placed a certain burden on Zhao Feng. Plush! The blood-flame Qilin race patriarch vomited a mouthful of scorching blood, a faint layer of flame on it. Wherever the flame landed, it would immediately ignite into a raging inferno. "How is it?" Zhao Feng immediately asked. In comparison, the blood-flame Qilin race patriarch had used a powerful spatial escape art in this unstable dimension, so he had suffered far more severe injuries. There was not a single part of his body that was intact, and some parts of his body were so weak and blurry that even his white bones were visible. "I'm fine. Although I've injured some of my energy, it's nothing serious. I just might not be able to help Your Excellency deal with some major dangers in the near future." The blood-flame Qilin race patriarch immediately began to use a secret healing art. "Go back. I'll remember what you've done today." Zhao Feng sighed. He truly had to thank the blood-flame Qilin race patriarch this time. If not for him, even with the space-time robe, he would have been pulverized by the spatial storm, his soul extinguished. Swish! Zhao Feng took the blood-flamed Qilin race patriarch into the ancient dream realm. Little thieving cat! Zhao Feng half closed his eyes as he sensed a certain direction. Chapter 13:16. Let's get out of here first. Zhao Feng put aside the matter of the little thieving cat for now, put away the space-time robe, and swiftly departed. Such a large disturbance would definitely attract the attention of the nearby factions. In addition, the Blazing Gold race knew of this place, and the ancient god experts they had dispatched had all been wiped out. It wouldn't be long before the experts of the Blazing Gold race arrived. If they saw Zhao Feng, they would definitely think of a way to pin the crime on Zhao Feng. Moreover, the God Eye Assembly had ended long ago, so he needed to return to the spiritual race. 2 months later, Zhao Feng smoothly returned to the spiritual race. On that day, many upper echelon members of the spiritual race came to visit. Zhao Feng now had an extremely high status in the spiritual race, and Zhao Feng did not return after the God Eye Assembly ended. After asking the life-sacred land, they learned that Zhao Feng had left midway. The spiritual race had even sent out intelligence agents to gather information on Zhao Feng, but none of them had come up with anything. I've made everyone worry! Zhao Feng clasped his fist and said. Zhao Feng, don't relax. Zhao Yufei is now the third elder's personal disciple. Ancient god Floating Spirit stroked his beard and smiled. Yufei has the spiritual race bloodline, and with the guidance of a half-step ancient god of the spiritual race, her cultivation, bloodline, and strength are certain to advance by leaps and bounds. A black-robed ancient god said. In his view, Zhao Feng had been too arrogant after breaking into the heavenly divine realm. He had an eye bloodline, but he didn't care about the God Eye Assembly and left as soon as there was a conflict. One had to realize that all the other eye bloodline holders wanted nothing more than to stay at the God Eye Assembly a little longer. There were also a few eye bloodline holders who didn't have the required cultivation and yearned to participate in the God Eye Assembly. But Zhao Feng had left midway on his first God Eye Assembly. The third elder's personal disciple? Zhao Feng was taken aback. Wasn't the spiritual race's third elder the half-step God Lord who wanted to take him as a disciple after he broke into the heavenly divine realm but was rejected? He did not expect the third elder to accept Zhao Yufei as his disciple after he left. However, the talent that Zhao Yufei displayed was indeed extraordinary. I'll take my leave first. Zhao Feng bid farewell to the elders. Zhao Feng did not tell the spiritual race about ancient god Profound Devil's group. Firstly, the enemy seemed to only be targeting God Eye descendants, not the spiritual race. Even if he told the spiritual race, it might not be of much use. Secondly, if he revealed the location of the Heaven's Legacy race ruins, he would be met with even more trouble. For example, the treasures that Zhao Feng obtained would be coveted by others. And now that everyone else had died, the Blazing Gold race and the major factions of the Antian zone would target Zhao Feng. Therefore, Zhao Feng did not intend to say this matter. After returning to his residence, Zhao Feng immediately went into seclusion. After entering the space-time robe dimension, Zhao Feng first began to treat his injuries. While recovering from his injuries, he took out all the spoils he had obtained from exploring the ruins. The cultivating black destruction serpent dragon immediately opened its eyes and stared at Zhao Feng. In a corner of this dimension, Zhao Wang was holding the staff of death curse and cultivating. At this moment, Zhao Wan had already obtained the staff of death curse's approval. He had also obtained a great deal of death liquid from the Heaven's Legacy race ruins, and the staff of death curse had helped him refine it, allowing him to smoothly break into the rank 6 true god level. Zhao Feng took out a crystal test tube as thick as an arm from the pile of items in front of him. It was filled with red blood, giving off a feeling of magma. Boom! As soon as the lid was opened, a scorching pressure of the primordial bloodline surged out. It's a little weaker than the Blazing Gold race bloodline, but it's even stronger than the blood-flame Qilin race bloodline. Zhao Feng could not determine what kind of bloodline this was just from its energy, only a rough estimate. Master, this is the bloodline of the Flame God race, ranked 48th among the 10,000 ancient races. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon immediately said. Ranked 48th? Zhao Feng was stunned. He hadn't expected for a random test tube to contain such a high-level bloodline. Master, could you bestow this to me? With this Flame God race bloodline, I'll definitely be able to break into rank 7 Ancient God. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon had a pleading look on its face. At its peak, it was a peak rank 6. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon had long since recovered its cultivation, but it was still not strong enough to break into the Ancient God level. The Destruction Dragon race bloodline was powerful and also had a Fire Dao attribute. It could refine and absorb the energy of the Flame God race bloodline. Let's talk about it later, Zhao Feng indifferently said. This Flame God race bloodline was also somewhat useful to him. And such a high-level bloodline naturally needed to be duplicated a few times first. Swish! Zhao Feng sucked it into his God-eye dimension and began to duplicate it. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon appeared disappointed, but it didn't dare to say anything. It only stared at the other items in front of Zhao Feng. There are at least 4 ancient bloodlines here that are as valuable as the Flame God race bloodline, as well as other precious medicines. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon had a greedy expression. It was extremely curious as to how Zhao Feng had managed to obtain so many precious items in such a short time. Zhao Feng then inspected the other items one by one. Although he didn't understand much, he had the God's spiritual eye, so he could at least see a few things. The medicines in these small test tubes are even more valuable than the ancient bloodlines. Zhao Feng cautiously inspected the row of small test tubes in front of him. They contained medicines, powders, or small solid pieces. As Zhao Feng carefully inspected them, he discovered that each medicine had an unimaginable effect. One of the small test tubes was filled with a cold, sticky substance that could promote the evolution of the Ice Path bloodline. It could also be used to cultivate Ice Path cultivation techniques, and it could also be used as a cultivation treasure to comprehend the Ice Profound. There was another test tube that contained medicine that targeted the soul. It had a chance of transforming a normal soul into a unique soul. For example, Zhao Feng's lightning soul body was extremely resistant to tribulation lightning and was almost immune to normal lightning. It could even devour lightning to increase the power of his soul. The soul was the foundation of a person. If the physical body was destroyed, it could be rebuilt, but if the soul was destroyed, there would be nothing left. From this, one could see just how precious medicines that could increase the power of the soul were. Other than these two, there were also 2 more precious medicines. There was one last medicine that Zhao Feng couldn't determine. Other than these, there were also many precious cultivation resources that almost didn't exist in the outside world, such as the 7-colored reincarnation grass, the heaven void sacred spirit fruit, and so on. After organizing all the items, Zhao Feng was already thinking about how to distribute them. First, he would give the large amount of death intent crystals he obtained to Zhao Wang. Zhao Feng had previously obtained an intent crystal that contained the Eye of Death. See if you can take the Eye of Death within this intent crystal and use it for yourself. Zhao Feng gave this matter to Zhao Wang to handle. If he needed it, he could refine it himself. If he didn't need it, he could do as he pleased. After all, an eye bloodline wasn't necessarily powerful just because it was numerous. For example, the one-eyed ancient god Profound Devil only had one eye of myriad forms, but he was the strongest in his team. The Flame God race bloodline has been duplicated. Zhao Feng took out the 2 bloodlines, but he didn't give them to the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon. The Flame God race bloodline should also be extremely beneficial to the Blood Flame Qilin race. Zhao Feng's mind touched the dreamy silver ball in the God-eye dimension. In the next moment, he disappeared from this place. This is the Flame God race bloodline. The Blood Flame Qilin race patriarch trembled. They both had Fire Dao bloodlines, but his was far inferior to the Flame God race bloodline. Besides this, Zhao Feng also took out several fire Dao cultivation treasures and gifted them to the Blood Flame Qilin race patriarch. After all, the Blood Flame Qilin race patriarch had been severely injured in order to save him. Many thanks, Your Excellency. The Blood Flame Qilin race patriarch excitedly accepted everything. In his view, paying such an enormous price to save Zhao Feng's life was completely worth it. Zhao Feng then returned to the space-time robe dimension. These things are all too precious. They're extremely useful to me, the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon, Zhao Wang, Zhao Wan, Zhao Hui, and the others. Zhao Feng planned to make several copies of these resources before dividing them up. Although his duplication ability had greatly improved after the god's spiritual eye evolved, these treasures were all of extraordinary quality. Duplicating them would take some time. Fortunately, he had more time in the space-time robe dimension. In a little more than a month, Zhao Feng successfully duplicated all these items. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon had also obtained the Flame God race bloodline that it had always dreamed of. After successfully duplicating these items, Zhao Feng impatiently entered a cultivation state. If I want to save the little thieving cat and get close to the faction behind Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6, if I'm not strong enough, I'll just be throwing myself into a trap. After consolidating his foundation and taking a few cultivation herbs, Zhao Feng's cultivation took another step forward and was now approaching the peak of rank 7. Zhao Feng was in no rush to increase his cultivation. Instead, he stopped and began to cultivate his intent energy. One day, Zhao Feng's mind trembled and he opened his eyes. Not good. The connection between me and the little thieving cat has been covered up. Zhao Feng grimaced. The methods of Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 could not be judged by normal standards. Through the contract with the little thieving cat, they had probably already learned that Zhao Feng was still alive. However, Zhao Feng was in the spiritual race, so he shouldn't be in any danger. But without the connection of the pet contract, how would Zhao Feng find the little thieving cat? At this moment, an item in Zhao Feng's interspatial dimension began to faintly twinkle with starry light. It was an ancient copper coin mottled with rust. How could this be? This copper coin. Zhao Feng immediately picked up the copper coin. This copper coin had been given to him by Lu Qinxin at the Fanlun Ancient Sound Palace. He remembered that the power in the copper coin had already been used up. However, at this moment, the copper coin somehow possessed power again. I remember that Lu Qinxin used this coin to sense the little thieving cat's location when I was escaping from the marriage in the flooding lake city. Zhao Feng's eyes lit up. Although the bond between him and the little thieving cat had been covered up by a special method, he was still able to sense it. But at this moment, Zhao Feng could use the bronze coin to determine the little thieving cat's location. Chapter 13-17. After confirming that the bronze coin could sense the little thieving cat, Zhao Feng began to carefully examine it. This bronze coin was a gift from Lu Qinxin when he challenged the Fanlun Ancient Sound Palace. For this reason, even after the energy within it was used up, Zhao Feng didn't throw it away, nor did he have the little thieving cat take it away. At the time, Zhao Feng had confirmed several times that the energy within the bronze coin had completely dissipated. But why would the bronze coin regain its energy after several decades? This was truly rather strange. Moreover, this energy was different from the energy it had once contained. The energy within the bronze coin was an even more profound energy of the Tao of Destiny. Zhao Feng had no talent for the Tao of Destiny, so he didn't think too much about it. However, this bronze coin had once more provided enormous assistance to Zhao Feng. He inwardly thanked Lu Qinxin, or perhaps the reincarnated Lu Qinin. Once I'm done with these matters, I'll go back to the continent zone. A look of certainty appeared on Zhao Feng's face. The spiritual race had the resources to open a path to the continent zone, but ordinary people didn't have the right to use it. However, Zhao Feng was now an ancient god and the most dazzling genius of the spiritual race. It would be no problem for the spiritual race to send him back to the continent zone. Zhao Feng had spent more time in the ancient desolate realm of gods than he had in the continent zone. However, he had a different feeling about the continent zone and the azure flower continent. He wanted to go back to spend time with his parents, see his friends, see if the azure flower continent was peaceful, see how the Great Gone dynasty and the Dark Moon dynasty were faring, and see how Lu Qinin was doing. If he returned to the continent zone, Zhao Feng would definitely stay for a little longer. Thus, he had to first deal with the little thieving cat. However, if he wanted to save the little thieving cat, he would have to face extraordinary danger. Given how much importance the other party placed on the Heaven's legacy cat, they would definitely hide it in the most secretive and well-guarded place. With my current strength, it's too dangerous. Zhao Feng shook his head. Firstly, the members of the other party's faction controlled the God Eye fusion art. This was already an enormous obstacle. If it weren't for the fact that Zhao Feng had the God's spiritual eye, he would never have dared to participate. Secondly, one could see from ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 that this faction was definitely not ordinary, and had as many experts as the clouds in the sky. Although Zhao Feng had the help of the Blood Flame Qilin race, he definitely wasn't a match for them in a direct confrontation. Moreover, Zhao Feng didn't want to use this power unless it was absolutely necessary. In short, this trip was fraught with danger. If I'm strong enough, nothing will be a problem. Swoosh! All kinds of intent crystals and cultivation treasures immediately appeared in front of Zhao Feng. He controlled the 5 elements, wind, lightning, space-time, and other intents, so the resources he required to cultivate were bound to be astonishing. Just what Zhao Feng was using was probably equivalent to the entire wealth of a rank 7 ancient god. The price was high, but the results were also incomparably shocking. In a little more than 2 months, Zhao Feng had raised his 5 elements, wind, thunder, and space profundities to the 6th level. Correspondingly, the Chaos Heaven Void Origin technique had reached the 2nd level, and his Chaos Origin divine power was even stronger, almost on par with the divine power of a rank 8 ancient god. Only then did Zhao Feng stop cultivating his profound power. Swish! With a flip of his palm, a black triangular piece of metal appeared in his palm. Let me see just what secrets you're hiding. Zhao Feng's left eye began to turn. The ancient god's seal was a supreme low-quality divine artifact. When Zhao Feng first came to the ancient desolate realm of gods, it was extremely useful, able to crush ordinary low-quality divine artifacts. But now that Zhao Feng had broken into the ancient god level, this divine artifact was no longer of any use. However, ancient god Black Heaven had traveled a great distance to pursue Zhao Feng precisely to take away the ancient god's seal. This meant that this divine artifact was not as simple as it seemed on the surface. In terms of toughness, the ancient god's seal is completely comparable to a high-quality divine artifact. Zhao Feng was rather surprised. A low-quality divine artifact had the toughness of a high-quality divine artifact. It was no wonder that the ancient god's seal was one of the best low-quality divine artifacts. However, the grades of god artifacts were not determined purely by their hardness. I remember that there was another seal within the ancient god's seal. As he sent his mind into it, Zhao Feng once more sensed that there was another seal within the ancient god's seal. As expected, this was a seal related to the Heaven's legacy race, and it was extremely complicated, even involving the soul. If one had a special technique, they could easily break it. However, Zhao Feng had no knowledge of this, and he certainly couldn't casually reveal the secrets of the ancient god's seal. He could only rely on brute force, so he needed to spend some time. Boom! Zhao Feng circulated his Chaos Origin divine power and soul energy into the ancient god's seal to batter at the seal. While Zhao Feng was battering at the seal, his god eye dimension was still duplicating many cultivation resources. 10 days later. The seal is broken! The ancient god's seal in Zhao Feng's hand suddenly unleashed an enormous ripple of energy. On the other side, the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon was alarmed. This energy clearly belonged to the ancient god level. Buzz! Bzzz! Azure characters flew out of the center of the ancient god's seal and began to revolve around it. How strange! It seems to be modifying the ancient god's seal. Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye carefully inspected the ancient god's seal. The ancient god's seal was as tough as a high-quality divine artifact, but its performance was rather low. At this moment, this energy seemed to be modifying the ancient god's seal's performance. After a long while, the activity of the ancient god's seal slowly faded. Zhao Feng sent his mind into the seal to carefully inspect it. The place where the seal had been broken was an independent dimension. This dimension contained an enormous energy source that was connected to the ancient god's seal. Eh? What's that? Zhao Feng focused his gaze on the wall in front of him. A simple map had been carved into the wall, and next to it was an explanation written in the language of the Heaven's legacy race. Could the ancient Soul Hall be looking for this small map? Zhao Feng was rather confused. This map wasn't very large, and its structure wasn't very complicated. The places that really needed a map were usually large regions or places with complicated terrains. Such a simple map was completely dispensable. Zhao Feng couldn't understand the Heaven's legacy race language written on the side of the map, so he didn't know if there was some other reason. The secret of the ancient god's seal had been unraveled, but it wasn't very useful to Zhao Feng. The only good thing was that after the seal was broken, the ancient god's seal had been modified and its grade had increased. It had become a high divine artifact. This way, Zhao Feng would have a divine weapon that he could use, and his strength would increase. High-quality divine artifact! The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon's eyes froze. It had some understanding of the divine artifact in Zhao Feng's hand. It was originally just a low-quality divine artifact, but it had suddenly transformed into a high-quality divine artifact. It's time to move out! Zhao Feng rose and ended his seclusion. It had been more than 3 months since the little thieving cat was captured. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 was about to return to their base. Based on the reaction of the bronze coin, Zhao Feng was able to determine the general direction of the little thieving cat. It was actually in the same direction as the Heaven's legacy race ruins he had explored. That place was extremely close to the edge of the Xiling zone. Based on his conjecture, Zhao Feng felt that they had probably already left the Xiling zone. And in that direction, the zone next to the Xiling zone was the Antian zone. After deciding to leave, Zhao Feng first went to visit Zhao Yufei. The spiritual race's third elder resided in the spiritual race's forbidden ground. Even Zhao Feng needed to first announce his arrival before he could enter. Brother Feng, you're leaving again? Zhao Yufei was rather unwilling. Zhao Feng had only just returned to the spiritual race, and this was their first time meeting, but now Zhao Feng was leaving again. Zhao Feng could only say that he had lost the little thieving cat at the God Eye Assembly. Based on what he sensed, the little thieving cat was probably in the Antian zone. That damned thieving cat! I'll go with you! Zhao Yufei also had a deep impression of the little thieving cat. When she saw that Zhao Feng was going to the Antian zone and that the journey was so long, she reluctantly said this. Yufei, remember your promise to your master! At this moment, an ancient and ethereal voice came from the depths of the forbidden ground. Hearing this, Zhao Yufei immediately revealed a helpless expression. A strange expression appeared on Zhao Feng's face. After asking around, he learned that Zhao Yufei had promised her master that she would focus on cultivating to the ancient god level before she could step out of the spiritual race. As for the reason, it was because Zhao Feng had once refused the third elder's offer to take him as a disciple, and now that Zhao Feng was an ancient god, the third elder demanded that his disciple catch up to Zhao Feng as quickly as possible, perhaps even surpass him. Zhao Feng couldn't help but examine Zhao Yufei. She had only recently become a rank 5 true god, but her cultivation was already at the peak of rank 5. As expected of the spiritual race bloodline, and the third elder has high hopes for Zhao Yufei. He's basically doing his best to raise her. Zhao Feng mentally sighed. He was confident that even if he took the third elder as his master, he wouldn't be able to enjoy the same treatment as Zhao Yufei. After all, Zhao Yufei had the spiritual race bloodline, which was what the spiritual race valued the most. I'm not going. Brother Feng, you have to take care of yourself. Gao Yufei immediately corrected herself. Brother Feng, the spiritual race should be sending a group to the Antian zone soon. You'll be safer if you go with them. Zhao Yufei seemed to think of something and bluntly said, Okay. Zhao Feng nodded and left the spiritual race's forbidden ground. He didn't know when he would be leaving the spiritual race, so Zhao Feng decided to pay a visit to the upper echelon of the spiritual race and ask Zhao Yufei about what she had just said. Correct, there truly is such a matter. The spiritual race has always been trading with the 5-star faction of the Antian Zone, Black Devil Peak. 1 month from now, the spiritual race will be sending a batch of goods to Black Devil Peak. Ancient God Floating Spirit explained the situation. In the end, Zhao Feng also joined the group. Because the journey was long, the trading groups would all fly over on large warships. Zhao Feng was in no rush to get there. By riding a warship, he could not only travel quickly, but he could also find a lot of time to cultivate and increase his strength. Thus, Zhao Feng volunteered to join this group. Before setting off, Zhao Feng took a stroll through the spiritual race, met with Pan Hao, and brought Zhao Hui with him. When he first brought Zhao Hui to the spiritual race, he immediately arranged for him to be an inner disciple. In this period of time, Zhao Hui's cultivation had increased significantly, and he had also begun to learn the medicine Dao. He didn't have time to take care of Zhao Hui at the time, so he brought him this time so that he could rapidly raise his cultivation. Perhaps he would be of use in the future. 1 month later, Zhao Feng boarded the spiritual race's blue-white warship and set off for the Antian Zone. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.